Pretty easy to tell who I'm talking
It's
about.
live.
It's live. Here we go. Yeah, we're live in May.
Or are we Memorex?
Yeah. Wow.
That's right, because I'm old. Shut up.
That was the one where, wasn't it the lady?
Oh, there was a billion of them, but the big one was the singer that broke the glass with the recording. Is it live? Or is it Memorex?
You don't hear about those people that are able to sing so loud or so high and break glass very often anymore, do you? That was like a thing for a while.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Like, so I had a choir teacher. Well, she was my band teacher, but she was a choir major in college, and she did it for us. Actually,
No way.
did it in
no,
not even kidding. Did it in the classroom.
Was it a Dixie cup or what was it?
No, it has to be crystal.
Oh,
it has to be something. It's harmonic resonation.
It's not about the pitch.
It's about
the ability to make the glass vibrate.
Right. It's not the volume, but you need volume. It's not the pitch, but you need the right. Basically, you have to get the right wavelength.
Well, you know what? I can pitch a baseball and break a crystal.
I bet you could.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's see her do that.
I can break a mirror with my face, so that works too.
I get it.
See?
We
worked with two people watching right now live, so we're going good.
No, that's fine. And
that's probably me and Anthony.
No, it ain't me.
It's not me. I'm not in there.
One of the two is me.
So it's cleanup week in Moorhead and like Minnesota, Minnesota. It's a cleanup week. So basically, that's like you can lug all your stuff out and throw it out, and then on your designated garbage day, people will come and pick stuff up. Like they'll collect. There's limits. Like you can only do like 2 appliances. You can't put like certain things. Like you can't put old TVs out, the old tube TVs. You got to take those down. There's a special station for those. There's also like no like construction materials, so you can't just throw all your old lumber on the pavement and expect.
Can you throw shitty board games out?
Yeah, you probably could do that. But I've mentioned this before on the show, I believe, but like this is also like scavenger.
Oh yeah, I've seen, because we do the same thing. Well, at my old house.
Yeah, so scavenger week. So basically, like when you put stuff out, it's just like a matter of time. Like if it's anything worth anything, like we had a couple of old, like literally like rusted, like could barely move bicycles.
Yep,
they're underneath our deck forever, and I was like, throw them out. They were gone in like a day.
If you throw anything with a power cord out, they will come by and cut the power cord off for the copper.
Well, right? Yeah, pretty much. But
like a vacuum, an old bed vacuum cleaner is a treasure, right? Because you get that big long ass cord with a bunch of copper in it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I had this like at one point when I was trying to figure out what I want to do for transporting miniatures, like Warhammer minis, and like somebody suggested, like if you can get a hold of like toolboxes, like old toolboxes that close and clasp shut, like you can rig them up with foam, or you can put a piece of sheet metal in there and use magnets and things like that, and they work really well because they're lightweight, they're plastic, they're lightweight, they move around. So my kid's taekwondo guy, the master of the dojo or whatever, he was like, I was talking about it, and he's kind of a nerd and kind of a gamer himself, and he's like, I got a bunch of those in my workshop, because he has this like big giant like area that he lives in way south of town, that do you want them? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So he brought them to me, and like there was like, they were good, but they were like old like DeWalt power tool cases. So like, the inside of them were structured for like different tools that went in there, like drills and what have you.
Yeah, you got the foam cutouts.
Yeah, but no, these are like plastic. So so I could take like I could take a knife and I could cut them out, and I did it with one of them, but it was kind of a pain in the tuchus. And I was just kind of like, yeah, this isn't really worth my time. And I asked him, do you want these back? He's like, nah, I was just going to throw them away anyway. And I was like, all right, I'll just throw them away in cleanup week, right? So, and I can talk about actually the solution that I found for transporting miniatures, which is awesome. But anyway, so I have like 4 or 5 of these DeWalt like old tube cases, and I threw them out on the thing. I giggle myself silly as I see people like the scavengers. They pull by and they like break. And they think they're getting like free power tools.
Windshield break so hard.
Yeah, like literally. Like, I mean, they think they're getting like free
DeWalt.
Yeah, they're getting DeWalt power tools for free because I decided I'd throw them away. They all come out there, race out there. Nope. I'm surprised. We had an old lawnmower, and the thing is, if you wanted to spend a few hours and $100, you could probably get it to work again. It's been out there now for like 3-4 days. Nobody's taken it. I had a guy take a long, hard look at it today, though. He almost took it, but he decided not to.
So the last cleanup day for me was when I was getting ready to move when I was moving to this house. I'd already moved here, but then I was cleaning out all the junk out of the old house. So like in my attic, I had when I first started buying board game expansions, I kept every box for every expansion.
Oh, I have a bunch of those myself, my man.
So I had probably like 8 of the giant cool stuff boxes full of expansion boxes in my attic. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to take them out, put them out there. I had people stopping to dig through my trash pile as I was building the trash pile. And then the dude starts walking up into my garage to see what else I might have to throw away. And I have to chase him off of my property.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things too, where it's like you're always like, yeah, I just don't want you like digging around in my stuff, or
don't do it in front of me.
yeah, just patiently wait. Now I've told this story. I might have told this story before, but one of my favorite things, like my parents when I was young. Now like you can go to Sam's and Costco and you can buy a trampoline in 5 seconds, right? And you just go, oh yeah, I'll take that one. You just get it. But back in the day, it was tough to get a hold of trampolines. They were like, but my stepfather sold school buses, and so he was always on the lookout for one because he would go to schools and like there'd be schools that were just they would get rid of them, and stuff like that. And
what kind of school buses?
Well, like yellow one.
Do you remember the company?
Well, he sold, and it was Upper Midwest, so I doubt he was in the same territory or whatever, if that's what you're wondering.
Oh, there's a place that made school buses between my town and the next town. That's why I asked.
Oh, I mean, it was called McLaughlin Equipment Company is the name. But I mean, he was there. He doesn't, it's neither here nor there. But anyway, so we got, so he got this trampoline, and this is not like today's trampoline, which, like they're relatively simple, and this was a giant metal monstrosity. I mean, it was like an acrobatics like gymnastics,
the big rectangular giant ones, no fence around the thing. You fall, you're breaking something.
Oh yeah, we used to jump really high and then jump off of it, like now I think about doing it, I think my knees would shatter. But I mean, like as a kid, you'd hit the ground, you'd just roll with it, and you'd laugh and you get back on and do it again, And so like we had it forever, and then the thing, it was outside and it got like rusted out, and like we had to replace the springs, the bouncy springs, a couple of times, and finally like it just was never used anymore. It just kind of sat out in the backyard, which was kind of the bane of my existence because I had to mow my parents' yard, and so I had to move this it was several hundred pounds. I mean, it was just weight a gajillion pounds. But I remember we finally, like cleanup week, like my stepfather called and said, can I get rid of this? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. You can get rid of it. There's nothing against, getting rid of a trampoline. But I remember we got like little dollies for 4 little things to basically be able to move it easier between the two of us. We got it out to the boulevard and we left it there. And I mean, just like one car pulled by, saw it, like couldn't believe their eyes. Like, and this is before cell phones, so it was like you can call your buddy. So they left one guy standing there by it to like claim it while they like were gonna race off to like, find a trailer or something, and then like somebody pulled up with a pickup that thought that they'd be able to like put it in there, and then they started arguing with the guy, and the guy said he was holding it, and they're like, "You're not holding crap, you get out of here," like, yeah. And so they're arguing, and then like, and it was like one guy against three, so he couldn't really tell them no. So then they're trying to put it into the back, and then like by this time the original group came back, and they had a trailer they had found, and then another person with a trailer came in. So there's this line of people, and they're like all watching as like, these like three guys are trying to load this thing into the back of their pickup, and like you can just see the whole thing just sagging down. I remember just watching that, and I was like, but eventually, like the second people, they actually got it in. They took it away. I don't know if they sold it for scrap or what. I have no idea.
It would have been fantastic to watch. I remember last time I got on a trampoline, I was probably 20 years old. And I was bouncing, having a good time, doing flips and all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to, I'll bounce off my knees. That's fun. That's easy. Everybody else was doing that. You know what? You know what it feels like when the heels of your feet touch the back of your head? When your body bends itself in half in the wrong direction? You pretty much are done with trampolines at that point.
Yeah, no. Though I will admit, do you guys have these things? They're like a jump zone or sky zone or something like that.
There's one in South Indianapolis that I've not been to. I've seen.
Yeah, we have a place called Bounce here.
Okay, yeah. See, we have ours is called Sky Zone, I think it is, and like you go there and you pay them $20 for an hour or something like that, and like
that's all trampoline stuff.
Yeah, it's all trampoline stuff. And so like the first time I went there, it was like a family thing. It was like my dad and his wife and my brothers and whatever. And so we went there and I bought it for myself and I jumped around. It was fine and everything like that. But I was also like, yeah, this is a young person's thing. Though I did do the thing where it allowed you to jump and dunk. Like I was like, yeah, I'm dunking the ball.
Do they play Cypress Hill constantly in that place?
I don't know if they
jump around.
Oh,
jump around.
So Lance, is the one that's by you? Does it have the vertical walls?
No, but there's a place that has the vertical walls.
So so the one by us, they have like these long like trampolines, and on each end it goes up. Not really a 90-degree angle.
They have that, yeah.
So you can either bounce across and try to get to jump to the top, but if you're really good, you could bounce off the sidewall. And we used to have, they don't have it anymore. When they first opened, they had a full court trampoline basketball court. Have you ever watched trampoline basketball?
I have watched that.
Yeah, so they had a full court there when they first opened. And then they replaced the court with it's kind of like a Ninja Warrior course with trampolines.
All the cool stuff is
wasted on the young.
Wasted on the young. and knees that work. But yeah,
people who weigh below 200 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, my kids love going there. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, if I was young, I'd probably really like it too. I can remember there was like in Shakopee, Minnesota, there is a place called Valley Fair. And it was like, it's just amusement park, and but it was a place that like we would go on a semi-regular basis. Like my dad would, on like week that he had us in the summer, that's like something we would do if we had time. And like I remember there was this crazy like jungle gym place in there that had all these like cool like little tunnels you could go through and all these things you could push and knock down and all these things. And I went in there once and I thought it was just super cool. And then like we hadn't been back for a long time and I really wanted to go to that. And of course, like my brother and my sister were like too old for it. And they were like all like they would go on this roller coaster and go on that roller coaster, which is fine. I didn't mind roller coasters, but I really wanted to go to this like big playground place. And it was like all these slides and stuff. And I just remember it being a blast. And so then, so like I wanted to go, and finally my dad said, you know what? Okay, I'll take him. We'll go do that. And then we'll meet you over at like the Flume ride in an hour or something like that. And so then I remember we got to the place and I was so excited and I went racing in. I was like super jazzed. And then I heard somebody yelling like an adult, like, hey, wait up. And I stopped and I turned around and there was this like you know how they have those sticks that they put next to you to see if you're tall enough to go on a ride. Now, I mean, back then they had these sticks, but I mean now it's like there's like you walk up to the little bar or whatever. This was if you're too tall, you couldn't be in that part of the park, and I was like too tall for it, and I was like so jazzed to go in there, and they made me go away. I was sad, and then my dad said, you know, it's like, what happened? I told him, he's like, yeah, sucks getting old. I was like, my father, always words of wisdom. So, did you guys see the Reddit thing about the Scythe artist?
Yes.
I was going to talk to you guys about that. Are you aware they're young Keith?
I saw the thing, and I saw Jamie had commented a little on it, and then I haven't gone back to see the latest.
Well, I don't usually go to Reddit, but somebody linked it to me, and I read a little bit about it. I didn't see
it on BGG, and Jamie, or they talked about it on BGG in the forums, and Jamie was actually commenting on BGG.
Well, he went to Reddit and said something too. Somebody told me, but I mean, I think Jamie just basically said it's a bunch of hooey, right?
I don't know. It's up to 10 pages on the Geek now. When I looked, it was 3 pages. So, and that was this morning.
So yeah, like basically, but my understanding is that Jamie just basically said it was a bunch of BS, which, you know, whatever. So okay, so like for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, and I might not even know, if you might, Anthony's always seems to be up to date on these things, and he might know even more than I do. But basically, the idea is that the artist for Scythe, who like, and everybody agrees the art was like really awesome for Scythe. I mean, well, I guess not everybody. I'm sure there's somebody out there that said this sucks, but for the most part, the general opinion is that the artwork for Scythe was very well received. Somebody on Reddit like posted a thing where they basically said that like they made a case for the fact that he wasn't really creating the art, he was tracing old representations of art and passing it off as his own creation type of thing. And so here's my thing. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing he didn't. I mean, from what I understand, I mean, I don't know. The court of public opinion, that thing, but whatever. It must have some legs, right? Like as far as it I mean, I don't know, Anthony, have you read up on it?
All right, yeah. So
if you want to take over, go ahead, and I'll offer up my 2 cents here.
There's actually 2 separate issues with the art that people have. The one is sort of it's a norm type of thing. So when you do concept art, you don't create new art. Usually, you take things that already exist and you either paint over them, you trace them, whatever, to make your concept art. So a lot of the attributes as far as the composition of the artwork is similar to artwork that's already exists, and that's something that happens, but usually as far as concept art is concerned. The bigger issue is the fact that the mechs that he designed that are in his artwork are not original. They are the exact same mechs that appeared in someone else's work. So the way that they're formulated, like obviously, if you and I are both drawing a picture of, say, Jesus, we like have this concept of what Jesus looks like, and he's going to have similar features, and he may look pretty much the same, but just maybe in a slightly different art style or whatever. But like the mech stuff, it's not like, oh, all mechs look like this. Like, no, they don't. And that's what some people are having a bigger issue with, is the fact that he took someone's design of these mechs and used them, quote unquote, blatantly in his artwork. So it's like a 2-level thing, depending on where you're coming from. But it's basically if I take, all right. So Keith is a photographer, and Keith takes these like amazing landscape pictures, and then I take Keith's art pictures that he takes and I paint over them. That's basically what they're saying he did. He took someone else's work and basically painted over it. So he didn't start from scratch. He used someone else's work and just recolored it. It looks different because the paint style is different and everything, but it's pretty much the same exact picture.
Yeah, it looks like what he did was he took a reference photo and then created his own version of that reference photo.
Right.
It's still unique art. It's just got an inspirational source that should be credited. It's anything else, and so the kind of argument is people that paint pictures of people use people as models, right? It's a similar thing. So, I mean, when somebody starts using a unique creation, I think that's where it starts to get a little bit fuzzier. But
okay,
tigers are tigers, right? So you're not really copying the tiger, which is
so it's because they didn't give any credit. That's the problem.
I think that's the big.
Well, the other thing is he's released several like videos showing him doing the art and creating the art, and a lot of people are saying, well, he's saying he created it from scratch, but obviously he didn't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things. So if Glance, you and I are both artists, and we both want to do this digital painting artwork of the Grand Canyon. We both go to the Grand Canyon. We both happen to stand in the exact same spot and the exact same angle and both take a reference photo to use. Then basically we have the same composition. What they're saying is it's not that he went and got this photo and it just happens to be in the same spot. They're saying he started with someone else's work and basically just painted over it. It would be like you taking like the Mona Lisa and then putting a fresh coat of paint on top and going, look what I painted.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, I'd have to see if they like, I mean, I guess my big thing is that, I mean, if they're not giving credit to the original person in some way, then I can see that's an issue. But but other than that, who cares? I mean, maybe I'm off base here.
The internet cares, Lance. The internet cares.
Well, and I understand that, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like, Picasso once said, "The greatest artists steal." So, I don't know. Maybe Picasso was right and continues to be right. So, I don't know. I just found that interesting. I mean, and like I said, I haven't really delved that deep. I don't really, I guess, care to delve that deep. But it's, I mean, good for Jamie to comment. I know lots of people wouldn't even bother. They would just say.
I think Jamie's just trying to get to the bottom of it all. Like, I don't think he's sitting there blindly defending the guy. But I think he wants to know. Like Jamie, the few things Jamie has said is not so much in defense of the artist, but more so in the, hey, wait a minute, that's not enough evidence to accuse him of this. He's not saying, no, there's no possible way he did this. He's saying, but what you're presenting is not adequate proof of this. He's not saying, I don't believe you. What he's saying is, I'm looking into it because I want to know the truth. And then I'll address what I have to address at that point in time. But I think he's more of the, okay, hold on. I see what you're saying. But I don't know if you have the whole story and you're, passing judgment already without all of the information.
Well, my big thing is that who had the time and the wherewithal to do that? I mean, somebody had an axe to grind, obviously. I mean, for them to like, okay, I'm this. this son of a bitch. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where I always wonder, about the
So there, can you see that on my screen there? The example of the blatant copying or the tracing over. This is one of the examples they're using.
Well, but I mean that. Hold on.
Yep, it's a cliff. Yep, there's a mech. Yes, there's a guy on the hill, and it's a similar shape, but it's not traced over exactly either.
It's a composition thing. It's a reference.
So yeah, he was clearly inspired by that photo, but that doesn't mean he didn't draw the art either.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy into that, I guess. I don't know. But whatever. Good for them to be angry about it, I guess. If it makes them feel better. If it makes them happy.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Someone just said, "Look, David Vila said it looks like the same artist to me," and that's the other thing. Like you have people who are artists who companies go to them and say, "Can you make me the art? And I want it to look like this art." I like the art in this game, but what you call it's not available. Can you make this look like, Quanchai did it?
Yeah.
If you look at these right here, you can see, yeah, he completely redrew that photo of the guys watching the sheep. He completely redrew that pile of pigs. He redrew that guy on the horse. But he still had to draw it. It still took the artistic talent. He used it as source, almost like a landscape. Right?
Well, this is my question that I have is that, and obviously we don't have the answers here, but was it a situation where he saw that art and decided to draw some of it himself, and then Jamie happened to see the art and said, "That's really cool stuff. I wanna make a game with
that's how this all started, because Jamie found his artwork on, I don't know if it was on DeviantArt, but he saw it on somewhere and he was like, "Wow, that's really cool. That's a cool world this guy is building." And contacted him about using it for designing a game around the concept. But again, it's concept art. So basically, it's like, okay, well, I need to put a tiger in here. Let me go get a reference picture of a tiger and put it in there. And it's not that easy to look at it unless you're looking at dozens and dozens and dozens of reference pictures to get something to look a certain way.
Who's the original that they're saying that he quote unquote stole from?
I don't think it's one person, right, Keith? They're not.
I think it's different things.
Right. I'm talking about the tracing art thing, and you know what? It's one of those things that artists do. It's a trick of being an artist.
Yeah, they're calling painting over it tracing. And tracing is trying to directly copy what's underneath. Painting over the top of something, using it as a format, it's not the exact same thing as tracing. If I tried to do that, it wouldn't look like anything. Right.
Because
this guy still has serious artistic talent. He's just using something else as his source base.
Well, and I remember somebody the original Reddit post where the guy said something along the lines of, it's like that he said that the artist says that he's been creating art for the last X amount of time, but why can I not find any reference to anything he's done prior to this day or whatever like that? And then he references old art that says, okay, so here's his old art, and notice how it isn't nearly as good, but all of a sudden right here there's a huge improvement. It's this is where he started to trace. I mean, and the original guy is flat out saying, yeah, he's stealing, or he's basically just tracing and not being original.
Well, here's the interesting thing about art. So when I was growing up, I used to draw a lot, and my father drew, and he used to always get these books.
Your father's name was Drew?
No.
Okay.
And he would get these books on like, cartooning and animation and all that. And the books literally would work two ways. One, they had like
You'd read them?
no. Can you let me talk?
I'm sorry.
Stop being the dick. So they'd have things like how to draw like cartoon hands. And they'd show like them in different positions. But what the book would also tell you to do is it came with tracing paper in the back. And you can literally just trace the hands that you wanted and the positions you wanted just by moving the paper around. And you can build an entire character just by tracing over the different pieces you wanted. So if you wanted it to look this way and the hand to be a fist, you did this and you did the fist. And the whole thing was it's supposed to teach you how to draw. But actual animators at the time would do these things. Like I would sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm the artist for Bugs Bunny. And I'd sit there and I would draw Bugs Bunny. I would draw Bugs Bunny's hands in different positions. I would draw Bugs Bunny's feet in different positions. I would draw all those things. And they'd put them on these big boards. And then you'd give them to the animators and they literally would trace over them to get all of the individual pictures needed to make a cartoon. And then they give them different distinctions. They were animators. The other people were artists because they created the original art and they pretty much traced. They still had to do the composition. They still had to do the individual things on it, little tweaks here and there. But all that stuff was done by one or two people. But then all the animation was done by 50 people. So the idea of tracing over someone's artwork to create artwork is not a new thing.
And it was incredibly boring being those animators. That's how they put naked ladies in and stuff. You ever seen that stuff?
Yeah.
The stuff they sneak in? Like, oh, here we go. I'm going to draw another 47 pictures of the Lion King.
But okay, here's a thing. So let's say you have, and we've seen it on lots of things. So let's say you have a cartoon you draw.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. You have a cartoon, you have a whole bunch of characters, reoccurring characters in the cartoon. You draw a comic strip, say. And you're going to make a book or whatever. And you decide that you are going to make the cover the 13 characters in your book like The Last Supper. You're going to have the same exact composition as the actual Last Supper from Da Vinci. And there's a good chance you're actually going to get a picture of it and the size that you're going to draw this thing of your characters, and you are going to trace over the original to get who's leaning this way, who's that way, and then you're going to draw the rest of it over it. Which kind of is what this is. You're taking photographs and you're painting over them. And again, you're painting over them. You're not running them through like Prisma and putting a filter on them and changing them into something. Going, look what I made. Look what I drew. No, that you didn't draw. But if you're sitting there going, okay, I have this thing, I'm going to paint over it. Look at the people who paint miniatures. They gave you an outline. You still have to put the paint on it. You still have to do the layering. You still have to do the blending. You still have to do the shading, the highlights. That's all you. It's a slippery slope on it. If you're using pictures as references and you just make an exact duplicate of that picture, unless that photo, and again, photography is a weird thing because you and I could be in the exact same position, taking the exact same picture. We have very similar looking pictures.
There was more than a few times when like famous photographs were like they find out they're staged and stuff like that too. Like, not to totally alter the conversation. Don't even start. You guys watch that Adam Ruins Everything at all?
Yes.
No.
The one about the faking the moon landing, like why it's like basically like the technology needed to fake the moon landing
Didn't exist.
well, no, it did, but it would have cost more than the actual price to like to send them to the moon. Yeah, it's like no, and yeah, it was good stuff. But whatever. If not believing in the moon landing makes you happy, then
And like I've said previously, Lance, if it has that just a little bit of doubt, it makes it interesting. Because you sit there sometimes you can go, well, maybe.
have you guys I can't remember the name of the documentary offhand, but it's a documentary about the movie The Shining. It was on Netflix forever, and I forget it was just like it's like room so and so. The room that
Room
Jack
237?
Yeah, room 237. And one of the conspiracy theorists, or like his theory about why he did The Shining, was his apology for faking
the moon landing.
Yep.
He was so anguished about it.
He made another movie and hid inside
Clues.
that movie clues as to how he created and faked the moon landing. Yeah. So there you go. So is there can I say one little minor spoiler about Avengers? We've all seen Avengers, haven't we, at this point?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
We can talk about it. We were going to spoil it last week, but Aldi hadn't seen it yet. So,
all right. So,
spoilers.
Spoilers, and this will take 10 seconds. So, Kabuki Kid, if you're listening, and you haven't seen it or whatever, this will take 10 seconds.
Seth, plug your
it'll
ears.
take more than 10 seconds, Chris.
So the last shut up. So the last line, the last I am Groot said to Rocket, translated to Dad. There you go. There's your gut punch. Called Rocket Dad.
And how was that translated?
Well, no, it's just like that was because they gave Vin Diesel, they give him all of the words like what he normally would say.
They tell him what he's supposed to be saying when he says
and then he puts the inflection how he thinks that he would say I am Groot.
I see. Do either of you have a PS4?
I do.
Nope.
Yeah. If you bought God of War yet, Lance?
I haven't. I've almost got Far Cry 5 beat, and that will be my next one that I pick up.
I recommend if you like God of War at all, I recommend this one for story alone.
I didn't.
It tells a good story.
God of War though. I didn't really because I didn't enjoy the whole button mashing weirdness of it. I don't know.
Yeah, the combat's less button mashy than it was before. It's more you do a lot more blocking and countering and evading and stuff. It's not quite like the Batman where you're chaining combos, but somewhere in between there. I like the combat a little bit better, but the storytelling in this one, the dad of boy game that it is, where you're walking around with your kid to talk to and stuff, it made for a great and compelling story. I couldn't stop playing it. I powered through it in a week and did a bunch of. I finished everything but all of the pick up stuff or go grind for stuff. All the side bosses, everything else.
I would be done with Far Cry 5, but somebody told me that like when you get to the end, you're done. You can't go back and finish stuff up.
That's incorrect. You can go around and run around because I did.
No, but like the quests are unavailable and things like that. Like
the side quests. See, I did all but the side quests that I did all the side quests before I triggered the end. So I don't know about that, but you can still run around the world and set collect and finish picking up crap around the world. You can go out and play. But yeah, I can't spoil any of the ending of Far Cry 5, but the ending of God of War was exponentially better.
Well, I mean, there will be nothing that'll ever compare to the ending of Last of Us. So, yet.
The ending of I don't know I can't say anything about the ending of God of War at all because it spoils the entire game. But it's one where you get to the end. I literally laughed out loud, smirked, and was satisfied, and was just sat back and said, "That was awesome." And which is the exact opposite of my reaction to Far Cry 5, where I went, "Oh, come on."
Did you
pissed me off so much.
Have you played did you beat Last of Us?
I did, and I can't remember the ending that well, but
the ending of, because like the whole premise of The Last of Us is that.
Wait, are we spoiling that?
Well, really, a game that came out like 8 years ago.
One of these days,
So I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, well, you can shut your ears in.
The whole thing with her head and stuff or whatever.
Well, no, the whole idea of Last of Us is that like basically it's a zombie game, but they aren't zombies; they're like mutants or whatever, or virus or whatever. But anyway, so
the choice at the end. Right?
Well, yeah. So the girl got bitten, but she doesn't get infected. So they know that like she has some gene or something to her.
She holds the key to the cure for the human race. But
yes, but
I remember.
Yeah, so
that was a powerful moment.
No, but it's at the very end when like he goes to they go to find his brother. First of all, the first 10 minutes of Last of Us tears your gut out.
Oh,
and
does.
And doesn't ever really hand it back to you. But no, so that he goes to and they're just about to reach his, because the whole time you've been trying to reach his brother's like place, like, like that we can get to my brother's, we'll be safe, that kind of thing. And then they're right outside, and she says, "Promise me, Joel, promise me everything you told me about the Fireflies is true." And he looks at her and, "I promise." And he's lying through his teeth.
Yep.
And it was just a perfect moment.
Yeah, that was a great game. This is probably the second best game that I've played on PS4 to Last of Us. And in some ways I like this one more because it didn't punch me in the gut quite as much because I was looking for it for enjoyment, but it was cool how and I can talk about this because this isn't really spoilery, but Kratos is a god, right? Son of Zeus, killed Zeus, spoilers. But apparently afterwards he said, "Screw it, I'm leaving Greece, I'm out," and he moved to Norway. And
talking about The Last of Us?
No, God of War at this point.
Okay.
And so now you've got Kratos dipped in Norse mythology running around, and it's really cool the way it kind of meshes together and the things you learn as you play the game. So very solid game, very good storytelling, and no microtransactions to be seen or anything annoying like that. So I can't recommend God of War enough at this point. Probably the best game I've played on PC this year, or not on PC, on PS4, on console or PC this year.
All right. Well, fair enough.
So your Infinity War spoiler is not in the actual movie. So,
well, it is.
Well, you don't know what he says. That's obviously was leaked outside of it.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had to. I mean, but
so that was a spoiler for all of us who have seen it. If we didn't hear that already.
Well, yes, but I mean, but also it kind of lends itself to the idea that, like, oh, well, why? You know why? It's like, well, why is it the last thing he says? It kind of gives away something. So that's why I said spoiler.
I mean, it kind of ruined it because I thought he said my butthole hurts, and that's not knowing that's not what he said really hurts my feelings.
So here's a stupid thing in the movie that I'm like, what the hell is he gonna do? Thing. So the bonus scene at the end of the credits.
Yes.
So before he makes the call that he makes, he tells her to call Clint.
Yeah, what's he gonna do? What's Clint gonna do?
I like how it was just like the throwaway line in that movie where it was like, what happened to what about Clint and Scott, you know, the Ant-Man, you know, just like, oh well, they took their deal with the government and that's why they can't be here. Okay, well that's just our quick little explanation as to why we didn't want to have 2 more heroes and didn't want to have to pay
Deal
to
with
have
them.
to deal with
We have an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man.
yeah.
We've got a movie coming out that we can't screw up. That's what
Yeah.
they said.
And well, that and it was one of those things too, where it's like I'm sure they didn't want to have to deal with like, okay, so now we have to like come up with like some sort of like we have to do all the effects for Ant-Man / Giant Man, you know. And it's just like I'm sure that was like one of those things where it's like, oh, now we don't have to worry about having a giant guy running around or anything like that.
So in the trailer for Infinity War, there's a very powerful image that does not appear in the movie.
Hulk.
Is it in part 2, or it was just put there to throw people off?
I think it was just there to throw people off.
Which powerful image are you talking about?
When they're all running on Wakanda with Hulk?
Oh yeah, and Hulk's in the background. Yeah. That was just there as a gotcha moment. So,
were there people weeping when you saw it, Lance?
I didn't notice anybody weeping.
Not even after. I don't feel so good.
Yeah, not even. I mean, I was. See, the only thing that I was surprised by, I was like, well, wait a minute. He was alive in the comic books, and they went to go fight Thanos. Oh well, whatever. You know, I don't know. It didn't really. Yeah, I guess I had all these people like gushing and stuff about like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Tom Holland, he did such a great job as an actor during that scene. I was like, I don't know, it was fine. I didn't really find myself like all that upset about it. Does that make me a jerk? I don't know. I don't know. It was good. The movie was good. The problem is that one, the big ending. Well, I knew it was coming because I knew it was coming. So I wasn't like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, I mean, so that didn't bother me. And like my wife said, she was just like, yeah, so it just kind of sucks because it's like, all right, so now I got to wait a year to get the rest of the story. You know, this is annoying. And I agree. It's just kind of like, I mean, I did like the final shot of Thanos, you know, just kind of, you know, staring off, you know, and with a little smile on his face. I did like that moment, and that was probably, and I think they did a really good job with him as the bad guy. I mean, and the fact that he's all CGI and you're just like, you don't even notice it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I know they kind of used a little bit of James Brolin's like facial reactions and things like that to like, you know, make it more real. But I mean, he was mostly CGI, so that really says a lot as far as, you know, how far we've come.
But he's CGI in the way that Andy Serkis is CGI in the Planet of the Apes movies.
Maybe, but James Brolin isn't 8 feet tall, and
well, Andy Serkis isn't a chimpanzee.
No, he isn't,
and he's not as thin as Caesar is.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it was good. I mean, there's so many people that are saying, it's the best movie ever made. They're never going to do anything. I'm like, whatever. I mean, it was good. It was good. I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm not over the moon about it.
Here's the one of the issue I had with the movie is I liked the jokes in it, but they did not leave any gap after them. Because literally there were people laughing, and I'm like, okay, shut up, they're talking again. It was funny, but it wasn't, 30 seconds of laughing funny.
Well, see, that's why I don't go to those things opening day. I mean, I kind of shut down my social media presence and everything like that, and then I go to it like later, and I go to like like my family and I, we went to a Sunday morning show at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Like it was, the movie theater was 2/3 full, right? And it was like, and it was not a rambunctious crowd. It wasn't, so like we got to watch the entire thing, and yeah, it was a pleasurable movie to go see. I didn't have a Yahoo, quoting the movie or barking and doing this, that, and the other thing. So, I don't know.
I have one last gripe.
Okay, go ahead.
I was kind of okay with Red Skull being in there.
That was weird.
But kind of not okay that they got another actor.
Yeah, well, apparently, like after he got done with the movie, he was like, thank God he did it for the paycheck and nothing else. Like I've read some things about it that he considered working on the movie to be like the ultimate worst, like just like couldn't wait to get off the set, like and cashed his paycheck and felt dirty afterwards because he was in just such a goofball movie. So, whatever. I thought it was cool that he was in it. But yeah, I didn't really. I mean, as soon as he talked, I was like, that ain't him. I mean,
my biggest disappointment was the handling of the Hulk. I thought they kind of cheesed out on the Hulk.
Well, they're gonna have a big payoff with him, I'm guessing.
Right. Because they had to cheese off because otherwise he would have made one scene of the movie absolutely pointless because he would have handled it all by himself. Right. I mean, that's the whole thing with the Hulk. And there was one scene with Thor that I thought was absolutely pointless to the plot and was dumb, which was holding open the iris thing, which is not a big spoiler. I just thought that was pointless. I'm like, why? That's just dumb. But that was my favorite part of the movie when I saw who was living in that location. And because I didn't know that individual was in the movie, and I almost cheered out loud.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like they just didn't give him anything to do, really.
No, they didn't really. But just having him in it, I thought was cool.
I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be in the next one because I have a feeling they're going to revisit that location.
I felt like they basically, it was like, oh, so can you just play Tyrion in this? And that was what they did, and then
we'll make you really big.
That's what was so funny, though. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was it to me was the same. It was like a Stan Lee cameo in some ways for me. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I mean, it didn't detract from the movie for me at all. It was, I don't know, a bit of a curmudgeon, I guess, in a lot of these ways, because I'm just kind of like, yeah, I mean, even the Stan Lee cameos, in my opinion, I mean, I will be sad when we no longer can have him do the cameos. I mean, trust me. But it's like, even those are kind of getting dumb, I mean.
Well, they've always been dumb, but you always wait to see where's he going to be this time. Who's he going to be? It's just an Easter egg. It's just for fun.
Yeah, I agree. I'll agree on that in that case then. Did you see the so not, and I know this is gonna bring up Star Wars, and I'm gonna say that, okay, so when they had the best opening weekend ever, did you see the tweet from Lucasfilms, Kathleen Kennedy?
I think I saw it, but I can't remember what it was.
It was basically the like Rey handing off
the lightsaber
to Iron Man's gauntlet and said, congratulations on the best opening weekend ever or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fine, whatever. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, you did better than us. We still made a ton of money, but obviously you did better.
Oh, and it's all going to the mouse, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. Okay. So whatever, regardless, right? But, Hamill, like I forget exactly what it was, but like he said, like basically like replied with a tweet that said something along the lines of to Marvel or whatever. You know, it's like you better just throw that thing away, referencing the lightsaber, because it's the passing of the baton, passing the lightsaber, whatever for that. You better just throw that away. You really don't want to know where that's been. Like basically saying that, like, you know, because now, like, you know, Hamill did like the right thing and like said, oh, you know, it's like I was so, but now he's like kind of really come out and said they've really screwed up Star Wars, and he's a huge, like, he's, you know, he's letting his feelings be known about his opinion about it. And like, I don't know, they supposedly like the overarching like Disney Studios is really not happy because of the fact that like they are not selling merchandise at all for Star Wars. Like there's like no Star Wars merchandise being sold, like comparatively. Like nobody's buying the toys, nobody's buying the stuff. It's just sitting on shelves.
Some of those toys suck. I took my son through the aisle, and some of them were just bad. I was like, who would possibly ever want some of these? They're just...
Yeah, the last few years, Star Wars has become Kiss.
Well, the other problem is toys, with very few exceptions, I think toys are just down in general.
I can buy into that. I mean, a little bit.
Because kids can play with the damn iPhone, not a freaking action figure.
Well, I also think part of it is an interesting aspect is retro is so in that I can get my son Ninja Turtles like from Goodwill or somewhere. I can get him Power Rangers, and that's back in stock. I mean, why would I go out and spend $15 for a Batman when I can go get one at Goodwill for 99 cents? Because they're everywhere.
Yeah, and for Paul, I think Legos are the exception to toys that sell, but I don't think it's because of kids nearly as much as us old bastards. Because
Legos are timeless. I mean,
exactly.
But literally, the last two Star Wars movies, I'll even throw Rogue One in there. They've become Kiss. There's Star Wars everything.
Yeah,
like I don't care. I want my little 3.5-inch action figures. They want the 12-inch dolls, and that's it. Lego, yeah, give me that. But there was literally like micro machines of all the ships, and then there was like Hot Wheels cars that were shaped like and colored like different things, and then there was this and all those little micro set things they came out with. Backpacks, like even good backpacks, like really crappy looking shit that they came out with and just freaking threw Star Wars on it.
I think they did that with the prequels too, though.
But not to the degree that the last two movies did.
Oh, I don't know. I saw a lot of garbage clone trooper crap out there.
I like my clone trooper Nerf gun. Thing's awesome. It's like a pump shotgun. It's like and it shoots another one. That's how you reload it. Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'll like I said, everybody's like, so there's this video out, you can find it, about this guy. He's talking about the Solo movie, and he's talking about how like this guy doesn't look anything like Han
Solo at all.
Like Han Solo at all. And like, so he posts these two guys that like, one guy actually went to like Indiegogo. He's Canadian. He's a voice actor, and like he actually like he posted videos of himself on YouTube of doing a Harrison Ford. Like he kind of like has like made his hair look the same, and he just did like the Cantina talk of the Kessel Run, like and did Harrison Ford's voice, and he did it spot on, and he looked like Han Solo. He had the vest on, he had everything. and then he went to Indiegogo, and like he had a buddy who wrote like a script for a Han Solo like solo adventure kind of thing, and he wanted to make like a little like mini movie, like a 20-minute movie, and he got funded, and then him and his little film crew they went out and they made this movie. So somebody liked it so much that there was a movie, like a little artsy fartsy movie that Harrison Ford was in, and they had a scene where like it was a scene of like young this character that Harrison Ford's playing, like young that guy when he meets this girl for the first time, and they contacted him and they flew him in, and for this like 10-minute scene or 5-minute scene in the movie, they had him play Harrison Ford's character as a young man, and nailed it, like perfect, like had the voice down, had the look down, everything like that. And they're just like, and this guy's like, why wouldn't you even like, and this guy campaigned for the role for Han Solo, and they didn't even bring him in for a read. Like,
no, they hired this guy that looks like Benicio del Toro's bastard son.
So apparently, and then one of the things is they said that they had over 1,000 people or something that they looked at for the role of Han Solo, and they hired the very first one that they had that came in the door, which, whatever. But I mean, it's just like, but this guy that actually played young Harrison Ford in a movie didn't even get like a read, didn't even get a look.
Yeah, I'm struggling because Solo looks like a fun movie, and Lando looks like Lando could be, but the dude, it doesn't look like Han Solo at all to me, just not at all. It just turns me off every time I see the dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, why is this dude running around? His facial features look nothing like Harrison Ford's.
Well, it's like he's got a block face, whereas Harrison Ford's is very thin and angular.
He's not my Solo.
Not my Solo.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure the movie will be just fine.
Just like Last Jedi was fine.
Well. Okay, so did I talk about the rating system? I talked about that already.
Yes, you already talked about that. Yeah. Well, maybe if they hadn't got a different director, it wouldn't have sucked so bad.
So if they want to make movies now about like what happened after Empire Strikes Back and before
here's the Anthony try to make us feel stupid. Go ahead.
I'm not. So if they wanted to make something in there and have someone play Luke Skywalker, who would they cast?
Michael B. Jordan. Let's mix it up.
No, I don't even know who that is.
Michael B. Jordan played Killmonger in
I got you. Okay.
He played Johnny Torch in the third crappy
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, Johnny Storm in the third crappy Fantastic Four.
All right.
He was also Wallace on The Wire.
So somebody needs to play Mark Hamill between what two movies?
Between the end of Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
All right, so you're looking at a guy late 30s, maybe somewhere between the ages of like 36 to 46 is what Luke would be, depending upon when that movie is set. That's a really good question. Yeah, I'm not really up on movie actors, so I mean, this is like a horrible question for me.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you want the answer, it's actually pretty scary. Just go on Google and type in Mark Hamill, Sebastian Stan.
Just you do it, and I can't really use my computer because it's off to the side here.
All right, Keith, you're up.
Oh, Bucky.
Yes, Winter Soldier. They have the exact same face.
Screen share it so I can see it.
He needs his eyes to be a little bit different shade, but yeah, pretty close.
No, that's spot on. They're both under the Disney bandwagon.
But they're never going to do that movie. What movie? Were they going to do Splinter of a Mind's Eye or something, or what?
I don't know what they would do. Oh yeah, that picture.
Doesn't he look
Man, that's
Screen share stuff.
Screen share that, Keith.
all right. Hold on here.
Yeah, screen share it.
I don't know how to do it. How do I do it?
Look at that. Look at that Photoshop. Just plugging his face on his head.
So jealous. I don't know how to
Do you
do
see it, Lance?
They look almost exactly the same.
That's Sebastian Stan's face on the right.
It's just a little more full, but yeah, it's almost creepy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what movie though? I mean,
If you wanted to make a movie,
they canceled Boba Fett. Why would they cancel the Boba Fett movie?
Return of the Jedi?
Wait, they canceled Boba Fett?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
What?
It's been put on hiatus.
Why?
Who knows? Probably because Jeremy Bullock is old.
Jeremy Bullock wasn't even going to be in it.
I know. He's no good to me dead, Vader.
Do we know what the next standalone Star Wars movie is after Solo? Because aren't they doing one each every other year?
I don't think they've announced it. Like, for a while they said it was going to be Yoda, but then nobody's heard anything about that.
I want to do a movie about the two guys from the cantina. I want to know why that guy's so bitter. Why he doesn't like anybody. And his friends don't like him either.
I want to see how he got the death sentence on 12 systems.
Well, did you ever see the Robot Chicken thing about that?
I think I did.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it was just like, because he's like, hey, let's go get a drink. And he's like, oh, I got so much work to do. Like the guy's, rah, 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 rah. It's like, oh, come on. Want a couple drinks. Come on. There's a new band at the cantina. It'll be great. He's like, oh, my God. I got to get this. This is a really important project. It all hinges on this. He's like, come on. Just a couple drinks won't hurt. He's like, fine, let's go. And they get there and they're drinking. He's like, aren't you having fun? He's like, I really need to get back to the office. And then he's just like, let's have some fun. Hey, let's mess with this kid over here. And he's like, what? No, I gotta. He's like,
so there's.
You better watch yourself. I've got the death penalty on 12 systems. What are you talking about? No, you don't. Then he cuts off his hand, and then he can't finish.
I keep seeing there's a one of those T-shirt companies on Facebook all the time. I keep seeing pictures, and they have one that says the cantina, where we don't like you and our friends don't either.
Our friends don't like you either. I always like that. I thought that was a funny one. Ooh, we don't like you.
Your friends don't like you either.
It's still rumored.
Ball movie. I think that'd be awesome.
There's still a rumored Boba Fett movie. There's supposed to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone as well.
Yeah,
I now they got the new animated too.
It's just really tough for me to care anymore. I mean, I should be so jazzed for a Solo movie, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll go see it, I guess.
Yeah, I want to see Deadpool way more than Solo at this point.
Oh well, I mean, everybody wants to go see Deadpool. I mean, it's just
the Celine Dion commercial was pretty hilarious. The video that made me laugh.
I mean, it's just the Deadpool thing is. I mean, talk about they just had the perfect person they cast for that, and he obviously it just yeah.
I mean, and it's sometimes it's not great to watch commentary videos, but I watched the commentary video for Deadpool because Ryan Reynolds had so much to do with even getting that made. And that is a commentary video worth watching because Ryan Reynolds is on it. He's just hilarious through the whole thing. And, it was just basically he just had to make that movie and work to get it done. And you could tell through the whole movie how well it was done that he did that. So
no, they did a good job. It was a very entertaining film.
I mean, it's not as good as say Waiting and Van Wilder, but whatever. No, sadly, I like those stupid ass movies, but
I love Waiting Ant-Man. Wow, those are fantastic movies.
Yeah, the first Waiting, the second Waiting was not that great, but the first one was funny.
I didn't even know there was a second Waiting.
Oh yeah, it's called Still Waiting. It's pretty horrible. The first one was horrible, but it was funny horrible. The second one was just horrible.
Hey, Cheech, I can only assume you've gone to see Super Troopers 2.
I did. I actually went and saw it last week. It was very, very funny. And I
have yet to see it. And I remember I went to the first one and I thought it was like a really, really good movie.
You know what? I would have to watch it again on a
because you don't remember much of it.
No. I went and saw it, and I went and saw it how it was supposed to be seen, how they would want you to see it, and I want to watch it again. And see, watch more story elements because I enjoyed it though. It was funny. I'll tell you a movie that actually might be my favorite movie of the year so far. As dumb as it is Rampage. I loved the hell out of that movie.
I went to that with my family, and I went to that the other weekend too. And I mean, it was not good by any stretch.
It's a popcorn film.
Of course, it's based on a video game. Of course, it's horrible.
It was not a good movie. It was not a good movie, but they did what they could with it. I'll say that.
I loved it. I can't wait to watch it with my son. Like it's just glorified giant monster violence, and it was fantastic. And The Rock was awesome in it, as always.
If you say so.
I've been enjoying my movie pass a lot, but I'm worried that's about to be over. I don't know if you guys...
Well, didn't they change the rules on it or something?
Oh, no. It's way worse than that now. Their stocks have plummeted in the last 3 days. It's now under $1, their stocks are. They are hemorrhaging cash, and they have less than 1 month's operating cost in their account now. I mean, they're going to get more money because they got a bunch of subscribers, but it's
thanks for ruining it for everybody else, Forrest.
So how are they losing money? I don't understand. I mean, it's just
their business model is terrible. Essentially you pay $10 a month for unlimited movies, and that means that if you go and see more than one movie, you are costing them money. They don't get discounted ticket prices from 90% of the theaters.
They're working off the premise that the majority of people won't go.
Yes,
but the problem is that all the people who've signed up are like kids in a candy store right now. They're like, "Oh, let's go to a movie. There's a movie out. We can go to the movies. Let's see that movie. We wouldn't pay to see otherwise."
The gym membership theory. Also, they can. What they're trying to do also is get cheaper tickets from the movie theaters by saying, "Hey, we're bringing people into your theaters. They're buying concessions," but all the movie theaters are like, "Yeah,
not Forrest. He digs through the garbage. It's the top."
Dude, it works so well. Like I've met so many people who do that trick. It's
how'd that date go, by the way?
That date. Well, that's why you don't get caught.
That girl had no vision.
Have fun with your hepatitis.
Did she catch you, or did the movie theater catch you and ask you to leave?
No. Movie theater doesn't care. Those people don't care.
No, she caught him because he left his wallet in his jacket, and he went to go and came back with popcorn.
Yeah. Changing topics. Me and my wife saw what was it? The Oscar winner last year too. The Shape of Water.
Did you get some nachos out of the can?
In my house, I dug through the trash. Holy God, that movie's crazy. It's such a weird movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's a good movie, but man, is it weird as hell. Like, just bizarre. It's about a sea monster. I'm not going to tell you anything more because it'd be...
I saw it. It's okay.
Isn't that such a bizarre movie to win the best Oscar? It's just... Wow.
Well... I'll say this. I think, and I don't think it's a bad movie by any means. Was it my favorite movie last year? Absolutely not. But the Oscars are very political as well. So I'll just leave it at that. There are certain things that are just going to get...
Oh, because he's a fish. And fish don't get to win the Oscars. So all of a sudden, we got to let the fish win.
You're right on the nose there, buddy. Right on the nose.
You let Denzel win, then you got to let the fish win.
No, but
that movie's actually it's an excellent movie. Mainly because of the limited dialogue.
I don't know. I liked it. I would never see it again. Like, I have no desire ever to watch it again. I thought it was good, but not great. 7.5.
It's no Rampage.
Rampage is immediately rewatchable. That's like the kind you get on Blu-ray. You watch it every year or two.
No,
Forrest's idea of a good movie is there'll be a Rampage 2 that comes out. There won't be a Shape of Water 2. And that means it's not good.
I don't. I mean, I'm having trouble deciding if you're being serious or not because Rampage was not that good. I mean,
I love the hell out of it.
The man has a National Treasure poster on his wall.
Yeah, okay.
His advice on movies.
I mean, we left that, and it was just kind of like, meh. Was the reaction?
I can't believe you paid money to go watch it, Lance.
All right. Lance, how many Last Jedis is it?
All right, there you go. Which is better, The Last Jedi or Rampage?
You guys suck.
The trailers for both.
Yeah. No
All right. So let's put them in order. Rampage, San Andreas.
I haven't seen San Andreas.
Yeah.
We're going all rock here.
I like
Rampage, Tooth Fairy.
Rampage. Tooth Fairy was not very good. I wasn't the target audience.
Rampage, Walking Tall.
Oh, that's a good one. That's the one where he goes in the casino and beats the hell out of people with wooden boards, right? I'd still go with Rampage. It's a close one.
Beats the hell out of people.
It's the remake of Walking Tall, and it's horrible.
Everything you just read, I went, nope. I wouldn't pay to watch it.
The movie poster is literally him holding a wooden board. That's great.
The funny thing is, the original movie Walking Tall, or maybe it's the Walking Tall 2. That's why it's a good movie because it's a sequel. The guy, one of the cops, I don't know if it's the main guy or the other guy, punches out the window of a car because he finds out that somebody dies in it, and he gets so upset he punches the window of his car. But if you look, the window is rolled up, and there's a piece of sugar glass in front of it, and he breaks the sugar glass, and you can see the other window is still up behind it.
You know what? My favorite rock movie is, I'm looking at him right now. I think it's Pain and Gain. I really like that one. Mark Wahlberg.
Well, for just cheese movie, The Rundown was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't in that one that long, but yeah, that's a great movie.
What are you talking about? He wasn't in that one for long. He was like he's like the main character.
Oh, I'm thinking the other guys. Never mind.
He goes to get what's his face and bring him back, and then he ends up in that, and like he's the whole thing about he's not gonna fight, and Christopher Walken is in it of all people.
Yeah, that's the one in the jungle, right?
Yeah,
I like that one. Yeah, I'm thinking of the other guys where him and Samuel L. Jackson kill themselves like 10 minutes into it.
I remember when we were getting ready to watch that, and my buddy said, "I swear to God, if he does the rock bottom to somebody in this movie, I'm walking out of the theater." And sure enough, like the opening scene, he of course does the rock bottom to some guy and he didn't get up and leave, but he pretended to. I remember I was just like,
he's gonna be Shazam. What?
Yeah. Well, not Shazam. He's Black Adam. Yeah, he's Black Adam.
Okay.
So my favorite rock movie.
Tooth Fairy?
Nope.
Scorpion King.
No, hell no.
No, not Baywatch. Are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious. My favorite movie that The Rock is in.
Jumanji.
No.
Lay it on us.
The Game Plan.
Oh yeah, that's
He finds out he has a daughter. He's a football player.
I haven't seen that one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through a list of The Rock's movies to find one I actually like or would think I'd want to go watch, and I've come up with zero.
Moana.
He's on. Yeah,
I haven't seen Moana. I haven't seen Moana, so I can't.
What?
But I do
Yeah,
like his.
I
I like his HBO show.
I was just gonna say his HBO show
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is about him being an agent.
Yep.
What is that called again? Why can't I think of the name?
Moneyball.
No.
And once again, like that one, it's basically Entourage with The Rock. Yeah, Ballers. It's basically Entourage with The Rock.
And what probably makes it great is they have really good guests on it. So.
Well, what makes it great is his partner, that other guy,
Rob Corddry.
Yeah,
Rob Corddry's money.
Who's like losing his mind like throughout the entire show.
But isn't this basically like what was that? What was that show with Robert Wool when he was the agent? Arliss,
which was okay, but it kind of faded towards the end. As all good shows.
This is a little different. He's a former player, and he wants to be a money guy, but he already lost a bunch of his buddies' money. So,
well, yeah, no, this is totally. It's total like if you watch the Entourage, it's the Entourage with The Rock being the main character, and that's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's a fun show. I actually like it.
All right, I feel vindicated. There's an 81% audience score on Rampage. So,
well,
there you go. Good stuff.
I'm putting together my Idoneth Deepkin, if anybody cares.
Rotten Tomatoes, or Metacritic's got Rampage at 45%.
Well, it's got a higher audience score than Super Troopers.
It's got a higher audience score than Last Jedi, I'll tell you that much.
That's because a bunch of internet trolls.
When I saw the trailer come on for that when I was watching something else, and I'm like, oh my God. And like right at the start, I'm like, they just made a movie on this old video game before I even saw the name, and I just shook my head.
The video game makes
I would see without the movie pass. I'll say that much. Like I wasn't expecting much, and I really liked it.
The video game makes shows up.
It's not so subtle cameo, just in that off. Like, they didn't even try and hide it.
No,
just like, oh, it's there.
Have any of you guys watched White Famous?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a series on what is it on Showtime? It's with Jay Farrow. Really good show.
I'm unfamiliar.
That's a good show. It's funny.
I haven't really had a chance to really watch a lot of TV lately.
Me and my wife are watching Jessica Jones. I like that a lot.
I'm watching Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. Ridicule me now.
What season are you in?
Let's see. I have to look and see. I've been watching the crap out of it. And it's because I started watching their spinoff without realizing it was a spinoff. I'm almost to the end of season 6.
Okay.
So my wife loves that show. Like she's like huge Grey's Anatomy fan.
My wife made fun of me for watching it. I started watching it. She's like, "What are you watching?" I said, "I'm watching Grey's Anatomy." She's like, "Why are you watching a chick show?" I'm like, "It's not a chick show. It's a hospital show."
Oh, it becomes.
But I was in like the third episode.
It becomes a chick show really quickly.
It is, but I don't care. I like it.
You know what? You know, like of all the shows that are on like all these streaming devices, they're on Netflix. I'm so annoyed that Boston Legal is not on any of them, because Boston Legal was one of the best shows on television. And I mean, it's just I'm annoyed that I can't just stream it whenever I want. I don't know. It's just the interplay between Spader and Shatner just made that show so good. And yeah, so I really wish some streaming, like whether it was Amazon Prime or Hulu or Netflix, would just finally just pick it up and make
Boston Legal streaming at Amazon. Hang on.
No, you can purchase it so you can watch it through Amazon, but it is not. Yeah. It is not included with the Prime.
Yep, I checked all the ones I have memberships to. No Boston legal.
Yeah.
Was it that good? Because I remember there being a Boston legal too.
No, there was the show called The Practice, which was like and then Boston Legal was the spinoff from The Practice, and it was in Practice was good, but Boston Legal was better. In this one dude's opinion. No, I just Denny Crane.
I did the Google search for it, and like the fifth thing down says, "Why aren't the first 4 seasons of Boston Legal available anywhere?"
So Netflix had Psych, which is one of my like favorite shows, like background. I've watched every episode of that many times over, and I just love that show. And then I was like, and then Netflix didn't have it anymore, and I was like, well, this sucks. But then Amazon got it, so now I have it again. I'm like, yay! I can watch Psych again. Now, if I could just get Amazon to get Boston Legal, then I'd be like, yay! I can watch Boston Legal.
Hey guys, I'm going to hit the sack. So I had a good time. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, go hit your sack, Keith.
Yeah, go hit your sack some more, and then I don't know, go play God of War again or something. Hey, I was going to ask you, when you beat a game, do you take it back to like GameStop and sell it then, or what do you do?
No, I never sell my games back. I'll probably loan this to Fish so he can play it because he asked. Because the only reason I actually have it physically is I could not get my account to log in to the PlayStation Network the day before I ended up going to the store to buy it. Something was hung up with my account. I could log in on the PC, but not the PSN.
I am completely. I used to be a big proponent of like, don't buy the game, just order it through PlayStation Network or whatever. Mm-hmm. I used to be a big proponent of that. I pre-order them through GameStop now because you get all the stuff, and then once you're done with it, you can bring the game back, and you get like if you can play, like, power through a game like you did and get it done.
Yeah,
you can sell it back to them for like a relatively decent amount of money, like around $25-$30, and then that means the next game you get is that much less.
Yeah, I just don't have anything else
on it too, which I really like. Like some of those big games, especially since I got the Xbox One X and they have like enhancements and stuff. It's like ridiculous, like 200 gigabytes or something. It's like, what?
Back before I got into the board gaming, I used GameFly like it was my religion.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'd sit there and manipulate my queue, and by God, I would have nothing in my queue the day a game I wanted was going to release, so that as soon as that game released, I was the first guy to get it, and I just buy it from GameFly because I'd get it basically for used game price, and it would have been a copy nobody ever played if I wanted to keep it. Otherwise, I just power through it and send it back. I used the crap out of that back in the day.
Oh, I love GameFly. I haven't thought about them for years. Yeah, I used to do the same thing whenever like Call of Duty or GTA would come out, just clear out that queue. You get it a day early sometimes too. Yeah, I remember getting a couple of them on like Mondays.
I used to just sit on that stuff, played the crap out of stuff, but now there's just so few games that attract me that, I 2 new games in the past couple of months, I guess 2 or 3, the Far Cry 5 and this one.
Is GameFly still a thing even?
Yeah, they send me emails every once in a while to come back.
Please, Cheech, come back.
I used it quite a bit on the Xbox 360. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Talk to you later.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, bud.
Bye.
So, did you hear that Gen Con is going green?
What? Yeah. Like it.
What does that even mean?
In an effort to go more green, you will start noticing some differences. First up will be the program book. Gen Con plans to reduce its paper usage by 3 million pages this year, largely as a result of shrinking the books by nearly half the size they have been in years past.
Well, I mean, nobody ever read through that dang thing anyway. So.
There will also be unboxing stations this year where convention goers can recycle their gaming components and packing materials, including the cellophane wrap and the interior cardboard pieces.
That's
a major push is being made this year to make signage either repurposed, multi-year, or recycled. Gen Con is also partnering with Indianapolis company People for Urban Progress to create one-of-a-kind collectible bags and wallets The limited edition items crafted by using both the RCA Dome material and last year's outdoor Gen Con 50 signs will be sold on the company's site. And lastly, Gen Con will be rolling out this year the usage of digital event tickets. These e-tickets will mean that you will no longer have printed event tickets. Instead, your badge will serve as your event ticket once you purchase the ticket. Not all events will use this process this year, but those partaking in some of the premier events will experience the use of these, namely those doing True Dungeon. So there's no more True Dungeon tickets. You buy a ticket, it's attached to your badge.
I mean, that's good though, right? I mean,
why do they still have RCA Dome materials? Like, seriously, we tore that down close to a decade ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Well, they probably were going to try to sell it to someone to do some memorabilia thing with it.
Oh, yeah.
Own a piece of the RCA Dome. And then people are like, who the fuck wants a piece of the RCA Dome?
Lots of people, maybe.
No. Colts fans are some of the worst fans in the NFL.
No, the Colts sucked when they were in the RCA Dome, weren't they? Didn't they?
No. They had, well, yeah, until Peyton came around. But no, they're terrible fans, just legitimately. Like I had I've had Broncos season tickets for like 8 years now. I had Bengals season tickets for a year, and I had Colts season tickets for a year just to try and sell them and make money. But then I'm a Broncos fan, and the Colts, they couldn't sell out some of their playoff games. Like it was terrible. Like I was selling playoff tickets under face value, which is ridiculous because nobody cared. That was when they were up against the Chiefs a couple of years ago. Whereas the Broncos tickets just consistently sell like crazy. The Bengals do, the Bears do. Just nobody in Indianapolis cares that much about the Colts unless they're good.
Fair weather fans.
Yeah, pretty much. It's amazing the Pacers are still there. I don't know because I mean, I've gone to like 9 or 10 Pacers games in the last 5 or 6 years, and they're never sold out unless somebody big's coming into town like LeBron or something like that.
Nobody wants to watch Reggie Miller play anymore, huh? Well, he hasn't played anymore, but I mean,
I was gonna say like 20 years, maybe like 15, I should say.
He was quite the player, though.
He was amazing.
I'd always when we played Stratomatic basketball, I'd always try to draft him all the time because he had one of the better like he could draw fouls like crazy, and so you'd use him to do like drive to the basket shots, and so and draw fouls on whoever was guarding you, so you could put whoever you were playing because they're like their shooting guard into foul trouble early. Good times back in the day when you had nothing better to do than actually play 82-game basketball seasons with your 5 other friends and have a little basketball league. But yeah, what do you do? I haven't even looked. Did you guys look at the? We'll have to do a Origins extravaganza like we do every year. But has anybody even looked at the stuff that's releasing? Is anything popping on anybody?
List isn't up yet.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought the preview was up.
Nope. I have not seen it on Board Game Geek release because I was going to make a video about it when it came up.
I don't know. Has anybody heard anything that's releasing there? So that's at all interesting?
No.
There's a baseball game that's not releasing. They're going to have it there. I don't know if anything's really releasing there.
From who? Who's the baseball game from?
Oh wait,
it's by the guy. I keep forgetting his name. The guy who designed Thunder Alley with his wife, Horger. Jeff Horger, I think his name is.
I have Thunder Alley. I've still yet to play it. I've heard some.
All right, so he and his wife, who designed Thunder Alley and Grand Prix and the new Death Race one they're doing and a couple other things, they have their own.
Isn't Thunder Alley like the old school game?
No, Thunder Alley's the GMT game, the one that you're undefeated at.
That's
yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the.
So they have their own publishing company called Laboratory H, and they have a baseball game that they're going to be bringing to Kickstarter this summer. That's all about running a team, like front office stuff, not like manager stuff.
That sounds really cool.
That sounded interesting.
Yeah, that's my jam on like Madden and NBA and stuff. I love running everything. I was actually wrong. That Origins Game Fair thing is up. It's just not highlighted. You got to click into it. But yeah, that's up now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. Like nothing is really exciting me at all. Like the only thing I'm really excited to go to Origins for right now is the Games Workshop booth.
Werewolf Legacy. Oh my god, I'm so excited to try it. Not releasing, but demoing. Yes.
I can't get excited about legacy games anymore. The idea of them are great, but I mean, I don't have enough time or enough groups of friends to like sit down and play a game over and over again.
See, I feel like Werewolf is kind of a game that if you have that group, that's the perfect kind of game for it. Like I know my friends that I play Werewolf with, that's primarily what we play together. Like I have a group that we'll play a couple lighter things, party games, but we'll get together once every couple months and play just Werewolf for like 6 hours in a night.
I don't know,
like
man.
Really fitting for it.
Oh, there is one on there that I'm interested in.
Okay. Here's the joke.
No, I'm not joke. Serious. Carthago.
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 Capstone Games is releasing.
Capstone Games is releasing it.
Yeah, isn't that a reprint?
It's a reworking of a game.
Because wasn't there a game called Carthago before?
Yeah, hang on. I forgot.
Action Phase Games is releasing something. Didn't they get bought out and then kind of?
No, Action Phase is still owned by Indie Boards and Cards.
Yeah, I wonder why they're still releasing stuff under that title instead of just IBC.
Because it's an imprint. Hold on,
What's an imprint?
Well, it's like Action Phase is its own like genre of game, I guess would be a good way to put it. It's like Indie Boards and Cards Travis Worthington owns like the other stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to explain. I
forgot what game this is a reworking of. Like another thing with a similar type name that came out a while ago. Oh, Porto Carthago was the original game.
Yeah, Porto Carthago. That was what company made that again?
That was Iron Games.
Yeah, and which, in my humble opinion, and I don't whether or not that guy made Peloponnese, which was fantastic, and then hasn't made anything good since.
Yeah, so
really? Peloponnese, I have that in my collection. I've always wanted to play it. Peloponnese, Egyptian theme game, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a civilization theme game where you like you do auctions to build up the different tiles that you have. And then
the game shits on you.
Yeah, the game kind of takes a poop on you because there's
I like it.
There's basically disasters that happen, but you're not sure what kind of disasters are gonna and how they're gonna affect you. So you're kind of gambling. Like, can I make it one more turn? Doing this, without it, and then you kind of have to deal with like the fact that, like, as Anthony eloquently put it, before the game takes a poop on you. So I really enjoyed Peloponnese. It was a game that kind of, it was, what is it, Bernd Eisenstein? I don't know. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
I've got it. I've always wanted to play it. I just never got it to the table.
It's good. It's an auction. I really like auction games. So
all right. So there are 56 games for sale in the Origins Game Fair preview list.
Okay. Well, let's do a quick smattering, if you don't mind, there, Anthony.
All right. So let's see. Carthago, which I mentioned. Sailing Towards Osiris.
That will be good.
Daily Magic.
I got a chance to play that, and I think it was at BGG Con, if I remember correctly, and I really enjoyed that. So,
all right. Roundhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
English edition will be available. Dure, the lesser houses.
Who's publishing Roundhouse?
Roundhouse is being published by. Hold on. Roundhouse, Deepwater.
All right, cool.
Is doing it here. So Roundhouse, welcome to also from Deepwater.
I really hope they fix the rule book.
But here, throw out Dure, the lesser houses from Devious Weasel.
Yeah, that's right.
Will be available there. Captive from Van Ryder, part of their graphic novel adventure.
What is that? That looks cool.
They have a whole bunch of them. They've let's see.
I backed that. Did you back it? I backed it.
Yeah, hold on.
I backed Terminator.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ones will be coming from them. Rising 5 from Gray Fox.
I did a Kickstarter video for that, I believe.
Yeah. Drop from Cosmos. Oh, Drop It from Cosmos.
Yeah, I reviewed that. That's it's okay.
Poetry Slam from Mayday.
Yay!
The Mind will be available.
I'm really excited about that game, so I want to try that. I have a feeling it's gonna be really fun. But they seem super stoked for that Poetry Slam.
The Mind will sell a million copies there.
The what? The Mind.
The Mind.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Pandasaurus is doing it here. Century Eastern Wonders.
Who'd you say was releasing The Mind?
Pandasaurus.
Oh yeah, I saw a million copies.
The new Century game, Eastern Wonders.
$15 too. Oh yeah.
Merlin, which means Queen will bring 12 copies to the show.
Wasn't that released at is that
Essence?
Oh. Yeah, I thought that was released earlier.
Yeah. Merlin. So if you don't get it in the first 7 seconds.
Yeah. They brought like less than 12 copies of PAX Unplugged. I think it was 8 they had.
Well, has that been released yet, or is it still just like in the ethers?
No, it's kind of the thing where they said in the Kickstarter that, you may not be able to get it. We'll only be selling it at shows or whatever. So they haven't actually released it into retail yet. They said they will at some point, but
has anybody played it?
I played the demo at Gen Con last year, and I thought it was really good. But I refused to back it.
What was really good about it?
It's good. It's I like the whole when you roll your dice and you allocate when you're moving which die you're picking to move to take the actions you want. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean that's like something where I go, oh, I should probably think about getting that, and then I'm like, I just don't want to bother.
Yeah. Well, Altiplano, but that's available now to buy everywhere.
I proudly own my my DLP copy.
Prowler's Passage. I don't know if that's available yet everywhere, but that's also from Renegade. Ada Colony from Rio Grande.
Yeah, I have never been so excited to not be interested in buying anything.
Yeah, I'm like nothing's jumping out at me here.
Baseball looks really stinking cool. I'm glad you turned me on to that. I definitely want to demo that.
Oh, and the role player expansion, the Monsters and Minions.
Yeah, didn't you back it though? I mean,
nope.
I got mine.
Nope. No interest.
Really?
Yep, none at all.
That's a really good game.
Don't care.
Don't care. Too cool for school.
Oh, I don't care. It's not my kind of game.
What, fun?
Oh, let's see if I can roll up a better character this time.
That's not what it is at all. Have you even looked at the game? Have you
Look, I'm rolling dice and taking them, putting them in places.
That's rolling dice and taking them places. Well, I guess you do know exactly what it is, Anthony.
Yeah. Oh, this game's so awesome.
It's actually really fun because like your type of
I didn't say it
character.
wasn't fun. It's not my kind of game.
Oh, okay. So you say it's fun. So that is true. You just don't like anything that's fun.
Oh, Lance.
I'm just quoting you, my man.
No, it's all right.
God, it still blows my mind how much stuff is released.
But you know what? What I've found now that I like though is that I don't care about any of it. You know, I've reached that point where I'm just like, eh.
There are very few things that I'm
unless it's
excited about.
What'd you say there, Forrest?
You don't review anything anymore unless it's Kickstarter, right?
I do. I do a smattering of other stuff. We gotta do another deep dive there, Lance and Ant's deep dive of something that we both played.
You let me know when.
Well, we got to figure out something we both played though, and do that's relatively new that's come out, and then we can do and then you know that's the weird thing is that you and I like have kind of eclectic tastes when it comes to stuff.
You guys both pick up Scare It from Strawberry Studio at Origins and do a video on that. You know it's gonna be hot. It's a must-have game.
Like Tom Skerritt?
No, just Scare It.
I like Strawberry Studio.
It's an animal card game, rock, paper, scissors mechanism, 1 to 8 players. So you can both play it solo, give your solo impressions on it. It's like money.
Have you played any of the other Strawberry Studio games?
I played 3 Wishes and I was thoroughly unimpressed.
Yeah, 3 Wishes was not a good game.
And they were
it's nowhere near as hyped as it was. But the other game I liked, the one with the birds.
I have not played other games. I just remember 3 Wishes because I remember Passport Games thought that was going to be their love letter.
Oh, speaking of love letter, what do you think AEG's doing? Selling it?
Well, I mean, I think they've gone to the well enough times with it. I don't think that Love Letter. Yes, it'll still sell copies and whatnot. I don't think AEG has the reach to make any more money on that game.
I think they milked that teat successfully, and now they're like, all right, we can get out of this.
Like, I think Z-Man, or Asmodee, whatever, taking it, actually has the resources to squeeze more money out of it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was too, but I was just kind of like, wouldn't you really just run it in? I don't know. Maybe some bean counter somewhere was like, well, if we sell it now, we can make X amount of money.
Well, I mean, they sit there and go, okay, we have it in these markets because it's been in like Barnes and Noble for a long time. Like, what's funny is that remember when they started putting it in a box as opposed to the clamshell? That was all because of Amazon.
Really? Was it? I didn't know that.
Because a lot of those games that come in that size box were originally all supposed to be in clamshells. Here you go, Inside Baseball. But when they went and talked to Barnes & Noble about it, Barnes & Noble said, yeah, we love the concept. We love the idea. We can't do clamshells. So the marketing team could literally put boxes together to say, okay, we can do a box. We can even provide because I remember when they first came out, like the first batch of them, they had like the box that would sit on the counter. They had like 4 copies of each of the games, like My Star and Sail to India. And the other ones that came, but they'd have like a display box you can put them in, and that was all done just to get into Barnes and Noble. So there, and now you know.
That's a battle.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
So what's the? I saw your post. Is it secret about the Viking thing you posted? You talk about that?
Oh no, I mean it's not secret. Because all the loyal Alaboomers, if they actually really want to travel to Minnesota, they're more than welcome to. I think mid-January is where we're gonna roll. It seems like that'll be what more people are able to do than everything. So I got a lockdown. I have 3 possible venues that I need to talk to.
Are we looking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I could probably do either. I mean,
Well, I'm just asking only because the flights are obviously different depending on which day you fly.
so here's the deal. So if we go Holiday Inn, there are 2 different Holiday Inns in in my area. Both of them have banquet rooms. That's Chris Peach can hook me up with if the timing works out fine, can hook me up with something that'll work really well. And then obviously the people that come into town can stay at that Holiday Inn. I don't know exactly how if we're able to work out a group rate or anything like that. That's all part of the planning as far as figuring out the spot. The other thing is that my Master Roy, the guy who runs Taekwondo, he has like one of his little side things that he does is he has this very large exhibit area, like exhibition area that he has that people rent out for like parties and weddings and whatever. And he has basically said that, next to nothing, close to nothing, and you can fit a ton of people in it. And then there is like a Quality Inn that's relatively close because it's way out in the middle of nowhere, but there's a Quality Inn that's relatively close, and they actually run a shuttle from that to his spot and back. So basically, it's like one of those things where I think either will work. It's just a matter of like, I think people probably would like the Holiday Inn option more just because it is more in the local area. Like as far as like you're gonna be close to this mall. There's a ton of restaurants nearby.
Plus you can just get up and go downstairs and play games.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. So it's a matter of figuring that out. My local game store, Paradox, the guy who runs it, he's going to sponsor it. He's he's gonna try to, like, I was like, well, I think I'm getting the rooms for free, and he's like, well, we'll figure out something where like I can like it's one of those things where it's like he just wants to be part of it and help make it happen. Whether it's he'll figure out something. The game stores he has is awesome. So I mean, it's just, but it's way off. But it is nowhere near any of these places. I was like, it'd be cool if I could get people over there. They could spend some money, or he'd give everybody who attended like a super huge giant discount on games and stuff, and get them out there. But again, nowhere nearby. But anyway, so kind of like maybe second week of January. Third week of January is what we're looking at. And yeah, it'll be like the first annual gathering of Vikings, and it's you got to start somewhere with conventions, right? And I'm gonna do it for real. And it's gonna be an invite only kind of thing. Not to be elitist, but I just want to kind of keep the attendees small. I've had
down.
What?
Calling us fat?
No. I mean, like, my idea is that if I had like 30 people there, that would be kind of perfect, right? I mean, it's just like it's enough that like there's always games, there's always people there. I mean, and I wouldn't want to go higher than 45, 50 people, maybe, because then it kind of gets too much. And then I realize also that it's like, most people are going to bring stuff to play, which I'm going to suggest. Obviously, I will bring stuff from my own personal collection and get it there as well. For me, I guess it's more of a I'm not going to have events or anything like that. It's just going to be hang out and have a good time kind of thing. Like Scott Alden obviously has said that he wants to do it. Jonathan Gilmore said that basically name the time and he'll be there.
Wait. So why are you inviting all the rest of us? Because once John brings his entourage, that's like that's like 20 people right there, isn't it?
Johnny G and his entourage. But no, Travis said he'll come up for it. So I mean, it's I'm gonna reach out and I think it'll work. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it's something that I've said that I wanted to put together for a while, but like now it's like the things are starting to fall together and make good on the whole deal.
So how hard is it to get from the airport in Fargo to this where we're doing this thing?
Well, if it's at the Holiday Inn, it's probably. I mean, the airport's way out of town, but you literally you get off you pull out of the airport and like it's Fargo, so everything is flat and there's nothing to see. But you get out of the airport, and I mean, this isn't gonna mean anything to you, but like you get out and it's what 19th Avenue North is, and then you just start heading west on 19th Avenue North. You eventually hit an interstate, and then you take that interstate. You take that interstate south, and you will just basically get off the interstate. I think it's exit 232, and then that'll deposit you right at Holiday Inn. So it's 10 miles away from the Holiday Inn, but it's 2 turns. You have to drive a little bit to get there.
Well, I'm not driving, obviously. I'll be taking a cab or Uber or whatever.
An Uber, they'll be stunned with how many like Ubers. The Ubers will be like, "Holy cow! All these people going here." So I mean, I think it would be cool if we could figure out Thursday through Sunday. I mean, obviously Friday through Sunday works probably better. Then people don't have to take off a couple of days of work. But I think it'll be fun. And once we get more official and as far as the dates go, then like official invites will go out. I've looked into having like badges made for it and stuff like that. Not that I really think I need to police the grounds or anything like that, but I think it would be cool for everybody to have a badge for it, and something, to commemorate it, So I think it'll be fun, and hopefully I can make it happen. I've definitely given myself more than enough time as far as planning time.
The first one's always interesting. We did our first invite only one here, and the second one was a lot more expensive because the hotel basically screwed up on the first one and forgot the charges for stuff they're supposed to charge us for. But yeah, no, it's fun. We're doing it again this year for the 3rd year, and then I'm actually running a public convention this year too, in 2019.
I'll head to Costco and buy a giant jug of pink lemonade for Aldi. Yeah, tepid. And we'll go from there. I always wonder, it's like I always get my press badge, right? And I sign up and I get my press badge but I forget. 2 years in a row now I've forgotten to go and get it at Gen Con. Where I just because I got the vendor badge, I just forget to go and get it. But I've walked in there and grabbed a soda. But then there's they're helping somebody else, and I'm like, I'll come back and get my badge. But nobody says anything. Nobody looks at you weird. Nobody does anything.
Maybe they recognize you.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, that very well could be. I mean, you're probably. If it comes just to reviewing, you're probably in the top 5 or 10 of them.
Yeah, but dude, nobody knows who I am anymore. It wasn't like it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
You have a very distinctive appearance. It's not like people haven't seen you before.
Well, no, I'll say this though.
I've never used my press badge.
I use mine every year. I get those mixers in there, start mixing that stuff with vodka. We always go in there to get drinks.
Oh, Cheech.
They're going to give you free mixers. I mean, how can you say no?
They don't give you free mixers. They give you, well, are you talking about just sodas? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they got sodas. They got juice in there. You put it in coffee, get a little whiskey and coffee.
Well, you know what? Good for you, I guess. Good for you.
I'm excited for Origins because this is the first time I'm not actually going to work it. I'm just going to play games.
Origins is my second favorite. And everyone goes, "What's your first favorite?" My first favorite is BGG. So
Suck up.
Can't afford to go to Texas. I can drive to Fargo.
Texas is it. How could it be expensive for you to go to Texas? You're closer than I am.
What? We just don't have the money to fly. I mean, that's the thing, because we just don't have the money to fly that much. I mean, I told my wife about the Vikings thing, and she was pretty pissed. I was like, "Dear, I gotta go to it. I want to go to it." But
I don't want to make your wife mad at you.
Well, it's also the time of the year too. It's like BGG Con's a lot harder to get away from because the kids are back in school, and I just got done with Gen Con and Origins. Whereas, mid-January, it's like we don't have anything going on.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can probably, if we want to try hard, we could probably come up with like goofball things that we could do for it. As far as like holding some sort of a tournament thing. I mean, I got my regular gaming crew, and I mean, and that's like 5 to 8 guys, and they'll go to it. None of them will stay at the hotel though. They're all cheap. So, I mean, I'll stay at the hotel just because I would feel dumb about not being there. Like if I slept in and didn't get there in time or something like that, I feel pretty dumb about that. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be fun. We can make it happen. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. But it just feels like it's 1,000 years away, though. There's so many more things I have to take care of before then. For example, I have to make sure that I have I can legally marry Emily and Ben in late August in the weird county that they have. I have to drive to that county and present them with my certificate of being a pastor of the Universal Church of Life, and to get on their books as somebody that can legally marry them. I need to get that done.
Is there a Universal Church of Death? Just out of curiosity.
Maybe, but I didn't. They don't. If there is, I don't know how to sign up for that to become an ordained minister.
So. There is not. Oh,
you should start it, buddy.
See, yeah, you need the yin to the yang.
But yeah, I keep telling myself, God, I got to do that. I got to make a road trip, but I'm just not excited about driving 5 hours to go take care of that. But I got to do it because I gotta put 2 people together for the rest of their lives.
Do you go to the Alliance Game Show, Lance?
I never have. I've often thought it'd be cool to go, though.
I was gonna say, if you ever come, we'll have to go grab a drink. That's like 3 blocks from my house.
Do you go then? You break in?
No, it's not media. I bet Travis has told me I could go in there and like show off games. It'd be a good time to like see stuff and talk to people, but I've never gotten a chance to do it. One of these times I will.
Yeah, that's another one of those things where it's like, it sounds like it'd be cool, but it's just I'm kind of in combination of either grouchy or lazy, I guess, in a lot of ways. It's just kind of like, like I went to Gamma. I was like, I've always wanted to go to a Gamma, and then I went to Gamma, and I was like, no, I never have to do this again because now I've been at a Gamma. Gamma is, I don't even know how to describe Gamma.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I want to go interview people there one day.
Yeah, Anthony, have you ever been to a Gamma? Anthony's gone. Oh, he wandered off. Gamma is it's a trade show, right? I mean, people aren't there. It's almost like for them, it's like it's a break from having to do like normal conventions. It's like, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna shoot the crap with my friends, and then I'm going to go get drunk at the casino. That's what I'm gonna do.
Awesome.
Yeah, but then they moved it to Reno, and I guess people are complaining because it was like, I can't go get drunk at the casino anymore. I don't know. That's just not my scene. I'm not a big party guy. I like hanging out one-on-one with people and BSing, but like I can't be in a large group of people and like be sitting there and like trying to either laugh with everybody or trying to impress people. I can't do either of those things. It just, I don't know.
I'm not very good at it either. I got social awkwardness issues on that sort of thing. Unless I'm really drunk, and then I'm a social butterfly.
It's not even the like I feel like I'm out of place or awkwardness. I just get annoyed with people. Like if I feel like and they probably aren't even doing this, but if I feel like somebody is just being like over the top, like crazy to be that over the top crazy person, you know, hey, look at me, look at all the attention I need right now. I get really annoyed with those people, and I'm just like, you suck. Just why can't you just not talk for like 5 seconds? And there's always somebody like that, and then I don't know. And then I realize I haven't had 7 whiskey sours. That's why this isn't fun. And I don't know. I'm kind of beyond the point of wanting to get drunk like that anymore. It's just not my thing.
Yes, I agree. I'm tired of hangovers.
Remember when a hangover was just like, oh, my stomach's a little upset. That was your hangover. Now it's like, don't ask me to do anything until at least 3:00 in the afternoon.
Well, plus, I mean, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I mean, there's no getting around. Hangovers extra not fun because I'm up at 7 a.m. no matter what.
Oh well, there was the night at BGGCon last year that it was one of those nights where it was like, oh, everybody's at the bar and everybody's drinking, and then it's like, oh, there's like this after the show whiskey thing, and then it was like I finally went to bed at like 4:00 in the morning, and I had to be up at like 10, and I was just like, this was dumb. I am not 22 years old anymore. I can't do this, and it's just like too much to drink. I can remember like the last time I ever really, really, really got drunk. Like there was like this and I mean, and that was I wasn't like drunk. It was just one of those things where I was like, I'm tired and I've had a lot to drink all night long. But I remember like many years ago, this is forever ago, like 15 years ago, there was like, I got invited to this like wine tasting party at this person's apartment. And so I go out and I, they're like, oh, buy a bottle of wine and, and come to this wine tasting party. And I was like, all right. So I went and bought a couple bottles of wine and I went to this party and then like the person who's hosting is this girl that they knew. And so we're sitting there and we're just hanging out and we're like eating like cheese and whatever people do. And they're being pretentious and doing the wine thing. And it was just like, and so like we finished one bottle and then I start drinking the other one. And then we kind of realized that nobody else is showing up at this thing. And we've got like 6 bottles of wine and we ended up drinking all of them. I remember waking up on her kitchen floor the next day, like no idea where I was, a complete blackout. And I of all the crazy things, I had to go and like I had big nerd time. I had to go play D&D that day. I was like, oh, waking up, walking like 2 blocks to where because this person's house was like apartment or whatever was like in like up and down the street was like no parking. So I had to park like 2 blocks over. I'm trying to remember, like the sun was like 1,000 times brighter than any sun should be. I'm like stumbling out, get in my car. I got to drive back to my place, get my D&D stuff, drive over to this thing. And then they're wondering why I'm not like paying attention. I'm like just falling asleep. I'm like, yeah, I'll roll the 20-sided. Yeah, okay, I attacked that guy. My group was like very disappointed in me that day. And I was like, I'm not going to do that again because I disappointed my D&D group.
Yeah, I don't get blackout drunk that much anymore.
That was just wrong.
Last 2 or 3 times have all been beer pong. Beer pong does it to me. And once when I was shooting, I shot like this little local movie sort of clip thing where we shot at a bar, and everybody brought their own liquor, and it was bad news. Just bad news.
See, if you don't go to BGGCon, do you?
Nope, can't afford to go to Texas.
No, you just said that, and I'm not really paying attention apparently. So like if you went to the whiskey tasting, you would love it. The whiskey tasting night, if you can find it. It's like
just samples.
Well, no, it's everybody. Everybody brings like there's a group of guys, and like I'm it's Bart Brunchine, like the armed medic. Like
I've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah, and like his buddies from Texas, and like really nice guys, like up and down, like some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your entire life, kind of people. And but they're all huge gamers, and they're police officers, and so so they come here and then they party, and it's just like, and so and like it's one of those things too where it's like you have to know about it, and you have to know where to look, and you have to kind of find them. But once you do, it's all these guys that like basically have expendable income that buy $100 bottles of whiskey, and they all try to one up each other, and it's just like you feel kind of like a jerk because you didn't bring any, but they're like, no, that's okay, this stuff's great, and you're just so you end up drinking like scotch and whiskey all night long, and then yeah, you pay for it the next day. But it's yeah, I'm not a big whiskey guy. I mean, like I'll drink Jameson and that's about it. But yeah, the stuff they bring is, well, some of it's bad. I mean, some is like, oh, this is like 30-year scotch, blah, 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 from the son of blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, just like, I don't know what you paid for this, but this tastes like crap. I always love that when people are all like, oh yeah, this is like a so-and-so something or other, and the bottle cost me $150, and then like, are you like lying to yourself to pretend this tastes good? I mean, I always think that's crazy. But
yeah, my buddy Brandon buys some stuff like that I don't get. Like he bought this this one stuff that he gave me some. I guess it was like $85 a bottle or something, and it was a pretty small bottle. And I spilled some, not from no fault of my own. Somebody bumped into it, and it burned his table. Like it stained the table. And I was like, Jesus Christ! No wonder this stuff tastes like shit. It's like, why are we drinking this? Like, what is the point? It doesn't taste good. They're just drinking it because it's. I don't even know. I don't understand it.
So my buddy Shad, back when we played poker, like all the time, like nonstop poker. We'd play it 5 times a week for money, all of us, and it's just, and it was just what we did. It was, and we drank, we played poker, and we had a blast. So back in the day, like, and this is back when you could play on Poker Stars and like you for money, and we were sitting there, and like Shad entered like a $20 tournament or something online, and he made it to the final 2, and he and the other guy both agreed, like winner was supposed to get whatever it was, like $6,000. Second place got $3,000 or whatever. Him and the other guy both agreed. They said, we'll split the top 2 wins. So basically, they both get $4,500. I might be fudging on the numbers here, but I mean, they just said, it's like fine, whatever. They're gonna have the winnings, and so they waited. They talked to a GM. GM said, okay, sounds good. They finished up the thing, gave him both $4,500. He cashes out. He gets the money sent to him. When he got it, to celebrate it, he won. Before these things were really well known and you could get them easily, he got a like a collapsible, really nice poker table. So like, it was like, it opened up, but I mean, it was the green felt and the padding all around it. He got one of those, and he bought like a $300 bottle of scotch. And so that was like, okay, we're gonna play poker on this brand new table. This is gonna be awesome. That kind of thing. We're all getting excited, and then he poured everybody a glass of this scotch. And this guy, Mike Weekland, he spills it on the table, and the same thing. Not only he spills like $20 of the scotch on the table, and then the thing burns like permanent, like stained, like felt. So not only did he like not drink his scotch, but he also ruined the table in the same night. It's just kind of like way to go. And like it was one of those things too where he was kind of not even like he was like apologetic about it, but like we'd bring it up like what a jackass he was for doing it, and he would like get like mad. He would say, "Yeah, we were all there. We don't need to joke about it anymore or whatever." It's like we're like, "No, you get to be made fun of this for like the end of time." That's how this is going to work in this situation because you're the jackass that did this. But yeah, I remember. But yeah. Anyway, I interrupted you. You were saying something.
I don't think so. I was just saying that. Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, Anthony's back, so maybe he was.
Have you guys ever? Well, it's hard not to try it, but have ever seen Remy Martin Louis XIII cognac?
I don't. If I've seen it, I didn't know what it was, and I don't think I've ever had it.
A 750 milliliter bottle goes for $3,500.
Okay, it's
reasonable.
It's reasonable.
So if you go to places that actually sell it and you do partake of it, it's a ridiculous amount for it, but it comes in a Baccarat crystal bottle. And the tradition is, if you get the last drink out of the bottle, you get the bottle.
Cool bottle.
But $3,500 a bottle.
Well, is the bottle that? Is the bottle like that?
It's not that great.
Well, and that's just it. It's like it. I mean, I don't know.
You got to mix it with high C. That's what I read.
Little Sunny D. I've had. Okay. So like, I can remember my buddy Matt came over once, and he was just like, and he, we're gonna like, I don't even know what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna play some board games or something, and he had purchased a bottle of wine or whatever, and then he's like, "Oh, do you got glasses?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he asked my buddy Craig. He's like, "Oh, hey, do you want any?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And Craig isn't much of a drinker, but he'll drink every once in a while. And so he pours him a glass, and Matt, like, it wasn't like a super expensive, but he spent like $40 on a bottle of wine or whatever. And it's just like, which I don't understand. I've never understood the idea of like, why would you spend $40 on a bottle of wine? But he did, and
you can't slap a bottle. I don't get it.
Yeah, so I was just like, yeah, slap the bag, baby. I even knew what you're going with on that. Slap the bag. I'll get back to slap the bag game here in a second. But so, I was sitting there and I was just like, and then so he hands me a glass and I take a sip and it's fine, whatever. I mean, I'm not a connoisseur. I don't know if you could give me boons and I'd be like, oh, okay, this is fine. And but Craig, he gives him Craig, and like, and it wasn't like he filled the glass, but he gave us both a sizable amount. And Craig like chugs his, like just gulp, 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 just drinks it down. Like he thinks he's gonna be funny, but it's Craig. He doesn't realize that, like, it's. And my buddy Matt was like ridiculously angry with him. He was just like, "What the hell are you doing? I just gave you like $8 worth of wine, and you drank it down, you asshole." He was like, gosh, like, because he didn't savor it or whatever. And I was just kind of like, oh, whatever. And then that's when I was like, that's kind of pretentious, though. I don't know. I've never understood it. I guess I.
Oh, the funny thing is, I worked as a bartender for years, and I used to laugh at people who would order like, they go to Grey Goose before Grey Goose became like a more normal vodka. Like, it was expensive, and they would drink it like it was water. And I sit there and I'm like, you can just drink Absolute and do the same thing for what you're doing with it.
But is it? Well, I mean, I have a buddy who only drinks Sky vodka. Like that's and he's like, it's the only vodka worth drinking. And I get it. There's personal tastes and thoughts that come into any,
right. No, I understand. But how many Sky vodkas is he having in an evening?
Well, Derek's kind of a big drunk, so he'll have quite a few. But,
okay.
But yeah. But well, he would that was his drink when he'd be at home. You know, I mean, then again, I haven't seen Derek in a long time, so I don't know even know if he's a drinker anymore. But he would drink beer when he was out. But when he was home, that's
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like I like good rum, but if I'm like out, like hanging out with the guys at the bar, I'm drinking Captain Morgan.
What's a good rum to you?
So, if you can buy this stuff called is it not Belvedere? I have 2 bottles sitting inside, but it's a sipping rum. Like rum, usually most people mix it with something.
Yeah.
But this, you can actually drink it right out of the bottle.
My tattoo artist, he is every Christmas, when I remember, I shouldn't say every, but I try to remember every Christmas, I bring him a bottle of Myers rum, Meiers, I think it is. That's his favorite, and that's what he drinks. And and it's not cheap, but I have no idea if it's good rum or not.
Yeah, this stuff, literally, when you go to like Mexico, and you can buy like tequila for like $6, the same bottle you'd buy here. No, the same bottle you would buy up here for like 25.
Yep.
So this particular rum is made in the Bahamas, and if you buy it in the Bahamas, it's $75 a bottle. Which
if you buy it here, it's less.
If you buy it here, it's a lot more if you can get it. But the whole thing is, that's hey, you know what? I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna buy a cigar, and I'm gonna sit out on the deck and have a cigar and, a double rum on the rocks kind of thing.
Rum's also my drink of choice. I'm in the same boat with you.
But like if I'm going to we're going to hang out, at a bar, or we're at a wedding or whatever, I'm drinking Captain Morgan.
If I'm going to drink hard alcohol, which I rarely do, because I just much rather just have a beer. And I'm pretty finicky about my beer. Yeah, it's I'll either go vodka, because vodka is just, it doesn't lie. So I always say vodka doesn't lie. It's because it's just a crisp. And I got people that, I love this cucumber vodka. No, just no flavors to my vodka, please. If I want to put it in pineapple juice or something, I will. But I
don't want my liquor to taste good. Why don't you back the hell off?
I'll like I was telling earlier, like I'll drink Jameson if I'm feeling weird and I feel like I'm gonna okay, let's drink some whiskey. I'll drink Jameson, because Jameson isn't bad as far as like a fairly mass produced whiskey. It's not great. I got buddies who swear by like Maker's Mark and stuff like that. I have a buddy who started drinking Maker's Mark just because Lemmy said it was like the only whiskey worth drinking. So I'm gonna get drunk like Lemmy gets drunk. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Lemmy doesn't drink that. I'm sure he can afford something better.
Every time someone mentions Lemmy, I just laugh at the way he got his name.
I just laugh at his quote of when we formed Motorhead, we wanted to be the band that if we moved in next door to you, your lawn would die. I was just like, that's a good quote.
You know why? You know why they call him Lemmy, right?
Tell me.
Because when they used to play out and everything, when they were coming up and whatnot in their hometown, he'd come strolling in to the bar, and the first thing he would say to someone was, "Lend me a $5 so I can get a drink." Everyone else started calling him Lemmy, so he just started calling himself Lemmy.
I remember I was, like I said, Norm Macdonald, he said it was like, I forget, like I can't remember the guy's name, but it was like the keyboardist for the Doors. And he was like, it was
Ray Manzarek.
It was some guy who just recently died or something. Like So it's like he's like, it's like famous keyboardist so and so died at the age of 74. The Curse of the Doors.
I try to remember if it was Norm Macdonald or Dennis Miller on SNL who said one of my favorite ones ever was, in music news today, the top selling album on the charts was from Better Than Ezra. Second place, Ezra.
That sounds very much like
I think it was Norm, but
that's very much a Norm joke.
It's just the best thing is like number one, Better Than Ezra. Second place, Ezra.
It's like, or opening today with great fanfare in Las Vegas is a 550-foot tall Ferris wheel. Also bringing people to Las Vegas from all over the world, whores. Just, he's so good. He has this Nixon impersonation that he does. Like, he doesn't do many impersonations, but the ones he does, he hits perfectly. Just so many good things. I think that, and his show that was on YouTube, his like show that he did for free, or basically, or like, well, he did ads and stuff, so he got paid for it or whatever. But like they're going to Netflix picked it up, and so it's annoying because all these great interviews that he did on YouTube, they're gone now because they're gonna transport them over and put them on Netflix. A lot like the Jerry Seinfeld Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And then they ordered like more episodes of it. So like you gotta wait. Now it's like this show that I used to love watching. Like you can't watch it right now because it's just like, yeah, we gotta wait for Netflix to come out with it.
Yeah, I burned through all of the podcast episodes.
The one where they were talking about, I mean, just some of his guests were just so good. I mean, like
Jim Carrey was a friggin' nut, though.
Oh, Jim Carrey was crazy. I mean, admittedly, but like Martin Mull was really good. Like as far as, and Martin Mull actually, like they had that joke where they said, you know, there was a the largest like black mass was held at the Satanist Church in San Francisco, California today. I was invited, but you know, I didn't go because I feel I can be just as close to Satan on the golf course as I can in some big stuffy church. And then Martin Mull just said, "It's what's in the heart." Just
no, the favorite Norm Macdonald one is he goes, they say that if you're afraid of homosexuals, it means that deep down inside you're actually a homosexual yourself. That worries me because I'm afraid of dogs.
Yeah, he his book based on a true story is quite good, and it's a quick read too. It's well worth like I just checked mine out from the library of all things, and well worth the read.
You know, with Hitler, the more I learned about that guy, the more I don't care for him.
his whole Shaggy Dog story is about like the serial killers, and he'd like go through them. He's like he would make them watch, and he'd force them to eat their own. You go through this big long like 10-minute discussion about these horrific things these serial killers would do. You know, this guy, he was a real jerk.
I don't know the difference between a hipster and a hippie, but it's fun to watch either one get beat up.
Yeah, very good. So I was gonna ask you this. I haven't watched a single minute of the new Roseanne. Not even, there was like the big uproar because like she was playing like a Trump supporter in the show or whatever. And then like she's a Trump supporter in real life or something like that. Is this, are you guys familiar with this at all?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. Oh, but I'll watch the first season. I mean, I grew up with Roseanne, so I enjoy Roseanne. I really don't know what the kind of comedy is.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched a single minute of it. I can remember watching the old show and like thinking it was okay. I remember thinking, what could this just be the John Goodman show? I remember thinking that.
Yeah,
a few times. But but part of me is like, there's no way she's really a Trump supporter. She's just doing it to get the.
She is rich, so there's a very good chance that she's a Trump supporter.
All right, well maybe. But my theory was it's like an act. Like, oh, okay, controversy, get people to watch, that sort of thing. That was what my gut said. I don't know. I guess I was looking to see if anybody else had an opinions or something like that.
No, sorry.
No, okay. Well, there you go. That conversation died on the vine.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Where's Aldi? Why isn't he on here? It's too good for us.
Maybe.
What was? There's something else I was thinking about today that I was gonna blather about. So okay, this is gonna sound like bragging, but this is like a real thing. So, my son's teacher, he's in Spanish second language classes in kindergarten. Well, first of all, my son, like, it was one of those things where it's like my wife, like, at one point she was like, honey, come here. And I was like, what? And she was like pointing at my son, who is sitting in a room by himself reading a book. And like, before like we had ever really tried to like teach him how to read, he just, I don't know what, from watching videos or just whatever. Like we kind of almost always have captions on TV. So like if people are mucking around, you can actually see the caption. Having captions on the TV is something that I started doing at like when I was in like my 20s. And I like having the captions on for some reason. I don't know why. I've always liked it. As soon as there's an option, I started doing it. But anyway, so I think that might have had something to do with it, because he'd watch cartoons and the captions would be on, and like, the words would pop up, and like, he could probably, put two and two together. Who knows? But anyway, so his teacher, like, I came to his class to like they have parents come in and read, and like, and then it's just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come in and read. It's like I have the ability to like be able to step away from work for an hour and go have lunch and then go read a book to the kids, and okay, see you later. And it's a fun way to spend time with my son. And so the teacher pulled me aside once, and she was just like, "Oh, I need to talk to you about Caleb." And I was like, "Okay, what did this a-hole do now?" And no, she was just like, and she just said, "Well, he's like, when we went to like the like conferences or whatever, she just said he's doing great. His comprehension's great, both English and Spanish. He's well behaved. Nothing but good news." So we come back in, and she's like, "Oh, I need to talk to you." And basically, and like, this is where I'm bragging. I apologize for that. So she basically said, like, you've got to like get him into something else, because like he's bored. Like he just reads at a higher level. You've got to give him like different books to read and like challenge him, because he's just, I can't do anything with him, because it's just, I have to help the other kids and I can't really challenge him. And I was like, all right, well, that's good news, but it's like, also like, what do you do, kind of thing. And he even said at one point, I remember, like, he said he didn't want to go to school because it was boring. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's boring. You're in kindergarten. You get to like run around. But anyway, so I thought, like, okay, fine, maybe he's just catching on or whatever. And and he's doing things. But I go in there and I read, and it's like, okay, so it's like, and then this one book I had, it was bilingual. It was both English and Spanish. And so I asked teacher, I said, I think this would be fun if I like said, you know, hey, how about if you guys like read, I'll read the English and you guys read the Spanish kind of thing. And they're like, you know, and she's like, yeah, that'd be fun. And so like I let my son go first. And like, you know, and he's just, I'm like, you know, Pepe the dog found a sombrero and decided to wear it. And then, you know, and I can't speak Spanish. So then my son is like, you know, Pepe has set the sombrero. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you know. And then I was like, that's cool. And I was like, all right, let's do the next page. And like some kid raised his hand. I'm like, okay. And I was like, you know, Pepe took a walk to the market. And then like it was just like time crawled to a standstill, which is why like teachers, I'm like, the patience they must have, you know, to like sit there and like, but I was like, they couldn't like, and I can't read Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. So I can't really help them. I felt like I was like just stranded, but I'm like, this is why like you have situations with schools and stuff like that, where people say that like, what do you, I don't know. It's like when you have such a disparity between, because he's like, I guess, like tested him and he's reading at like a second grade level in kindergarten, which is cool, right? But it's like, what am I supposed to do for him at this point? Because they don't push kids ahead in grades anymore. That just doesn't happen. I guess I could go see if I can get him into a private school, but I really don't want to do that because he's got like a group of friends that he hangs out with all the time.
It gets worse too, man. I mean, I did my student teaching in second grade. And I had kids that were doing fifth grade math and reading levels, and then I had kids who couldn't recognize like simple sight words like "and" in second grade. It's terrible. It's terrible because there's no right answer. Like you want to help those kids that are excelling, but at the same time you have to put so much time and resources into those kids that aren't and have no chance of catching up. It's rough.
So I mean, I just it's like one of those things where it's like, well, what do you do? I mean, I honestly have no clue. I mean, it's just you push
them through. I mean, that's pretty much the whole school system is now, is just pushing them through, and you do the best you can for the kids that are reading at the fifth grade level to give them challenging material. And like what I would do is I'd say, all right, you can, because normally it's like, oh, you're limited to this stuff at the library. I was like, you guys have no limitations in the library. And for the kids that are behind, you have to focus more time and effort on them, because if not, they're just going to keep getting further and further behind. And the kids in the middle kind of just get the shaft. I mean, there's no good answer.
They get the shaft.
And in my state, they don't even require kindergarten, which is it's just appalling to think that there's kids going into first grade who have nothing. They have no, God, sometimes I hate working with kids, and it's just the people that make the laws for kids.
Go to kindergarten.
What?
Who wouldn't have their kids go to kindergarten?
Idiots. God awful idiots. That's all. Idiots.
I don't get it. Anthony, weigh in.
It sucks because I was one of those kids.
The one that doesn't do the sight words of "and"?
No, I was one of those kids who knew stuff before I went to school. I made school very boring because I wasn't allowed to answer the questions.
Oh, and you be the kid to raise their hand, and
yeah.
Anthony, somebody else gets a turn.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I got that way too. I was just like, what I did so I didn't go crazy. I would sit there and I'd read books when the teacher was talking. And like, I got in trouble at first for it, but after a while, they just let me read. I would just sit there and read like anything I can get my hands on. I would read it. My sister told me the other day, we were talking about kids, and I was talking about that, and she was like, I don't remember this at all, but apparently I used to go to the library. And once again, this sounds like I'm bragging, so I apologize for being a kind of a punk ass about it. So I'm not trying to be that way. But like there was a rule at the Fargo Public Library where a child could not check out more than 10 books at a time. And so I would check out my 10 books, and I'd have between around half of them read in the car before we got home, and then I'd be done reading them by that day. And so then I'd have to go back to the library like the next day. And so they gave me they gave me, when I was like 7 years old, they gave me a adult's library card. So like it was a different color. There was no chip or anything. This is just the shunk ones, but it wasn't the kids' color. And they let me, and so they would know that then I was allowed to check out as many books as I wanted. So like because I was going through the books too fast. I remember being so annoyed with my with my library because they didn't have any new books of anything that I wanted to read about. If that makes sense. Like I was always reading like the books on like UFOs and like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and like all kinds of stuff like that, or ghosts, or like, stuff like that. That was the stuff that like really intrigued me, that I thought was really interesting. But it would be like the same books on the shelf every single time I went in. And I'd just get really, really annoyed that they hadn't got anything new.
I remember sitting there. It was it was kindergarten. It was first grade. School's a lot different now. But I remember sitting there and we were reading. Everyone was reading the new book in class that I had read like when I was like 2.5. And I'm like, yeah. See Dick run, see Jane run. Spot runs, everyone runs. Like I read that at home when I was like literally like 2.5 years old. And the kid's sitting there, like, run, Jane, run. And I'm like, oh my God.
And you shouldn't laugh, right? And I remember like you had to take 2 years of foreign language in high school. And so and I remember I took German the first year, and I was like, and I took German the second year. And so that was that second year. And I don't think I took German. I took German 3 years, but I didn't take it the fourth year just because my older brother took me aside. He's like, you will never get to skate through life as much as you'll get to when you're a senior in high school. He said, take as few classes as you possibly can. And so I didn't take German. I didn't take a math class because I had finished my math credit. So I had like 4 classes. No, I had 5 classes, and 2 of them were bands. my senior year, it was like it just coasted. But I remember like in German, like second year German, and I there was this one guy that he didn't know. He couldn't do it, right? And so we do the same thing like I think every teacher does, where it's like you read the German, like they hand out the pamphlet or the book or whatever, or the story that's in German, and you read through your like paragraph, and like everybody in the class knew when it got to him and he'd get to that paragraph, it was like everybody else 2 minutes to conjugate everything. It's like 4 sentences. Him, it was like 20 minutes. And it was just like, and the teacher was like, mushta, just like, I remember that was just like, it was time to snooze when it was his turn. And I always felt bad for him because it was just like, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to feel like he was stupid. And it's just like, it's like, look, just let him take a shop class or something. You know, I mean, I hate to be mean, but it's like, I don't know. I just, school's weird.
Well, that was the same thing too. Remember when they made you take shop and home ec classes?
Oh yes, because you need to be a well-rounded person. I remember home ec. Like, you never got to do anything fun. It was like, oh, you know, we're gonna learn how to make a salad today. I don't want to know how to make a salad. I just I don't. It's like, ooh, I tear the lettuce and I put it in the bowl. Yeah, this was tough. Thank you, Mrs. Grant. This was well worth my time.
Our home ec teacher was famous because she blew her eyebrows off.
With what?
With the stove.
Nice.
Yeah. So she apparently the gas was left on the stove, and she went to light the pilot, and it just blew up and burnt her eyebrows off. Singed her eyebrows off.
I remember I didn't take wood shop, but I had to take metal shop because I had to take a metal class. And I remember as a kid thinking, we shouldn't have access to arc welders. I was just like, this is incredibly dangerous.
Wood shop. We had like table saws and.
Well, I know, but it's just like, but I mean, just the whole.
And you had that one shop teacher who was missing a digit.
I just remember that, like, Mr. Anderson, our metal shop teacher, he would basically say, work on your dustpans today. He'd go sit in his office and he would never leave. He would just go sit in his office. And, like, I don't know what he was doing in there. He just didn't want to deal with kids. He didn't want to talk to them, didn't want to do anything. And he'd be like, film strip today. He'd just get, like, he'd watch some film strip about, you know, it's like working in a body shop. You know, just like, ugh.
Yeah, we were just cleaning out some of my old stuff, and like I found like the boat I made in wood shop. My sister's like, "You want to keep this?" I'm like, "No, throw it away." I don't know why mommy kept it.
Because she loved you.
No, please. Yeah, after a while, you get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm like ditching a lot of stuff lately. Like especially because cleanup week and stuff like that. But I mean, like I've definitely tossed a bunch of stuff recently where it's just kind of like, yeah, this is kind of sad and it's part of my life and everything like that. But you know, I don't need it, and I've got too much crap as it is. I just I don't know. That's what it is, though, man. Stuff. Like, everybody's got so much stuff. Like, you hear about these people that go minimalist and stuff like that, and like, oh, it's like, oh, I just take all my stuff and I get rid of all of it, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's just like, also, it's like, you're gonna come to a point where you're gonna be like, oh, I used to have that, and I got rid of it along with all my other stuff, and I kind of wish I had it back now.
All right, yeah. I did confirm that Norm Macdonald did utter the better than Ezra.
Well, he was the one that always do the recent poll of worst job. Well, it was always crack whore. It's like
I have a whole list here of like lines from the SNL the news feed.
But then the other thing he said, then the one year it was like, crack whore was actually beaten out for worst job in America.
Here we go.
The new worst job is crack whore trainee.
Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap.
He So Norm, like one of the, I think I might have said this before, but like one of the, so after they get done with the rap party, like after they get done on with the performance on Saturday Night Live, like he like talks about how he's just painfully shy, like he doesn't like spending time with people, like it just drives him crazy, and he but he would always go to the rap party. And people are like, well, why? Because he would stay there for like 5 minutes. And one of the things about the rap party is that they would always give there'd always be drivers, like, limousines to get everybody home. So, like, if they got, drunk or high or whatever, they'd have a way home. Norm would leave and he'd go out and get one of the limos all to himself, and he'd have the guy drive him to Atlantic City and he'd go gamble. And that was, so he'd go and then he'd leave right away. He'd hang out for like 5 minutes and then he'd go. So like they talk about him and Chris Kattan had like this huge like feud on the show. Like I guess Norm just didn't like Chris Kattan at all. And Jim Brewer, and I can't do because it's Jim Brewer telling a story, but Jim Brewer was on Saturday Night Live at the same time as them, and he was talking about how Norm Macdonald, like Jim Brewer, like it was on, and Chris Kattan was in the same sketch, and it was a Twilight Zone sketch, and it was going to be and Pamela Anderson was the guest host. And Chris Kattan was like, just like super like, oh my God, she's so beautiful, just totally fawning over it. And so he pushes this sketch through about like this thing where basically I forget what it was something where he was going to be able to like kiss her or something, and then Norm Macdonald had him was going to play Rod Serling, and so they would sit there and so they do the read through, and Norm just totally biffs it. It's like, it isn't like picture if you will. He was like, picture if you will, like the Norm Macdonald normal voice. He isn't doing Rod Serling at all. And like Chris Kattan's just like, Norm, you're not doing it right. You got to do this better. And he was just giving him crap. And so like he said, it was like every single time they did a run through, and he's like, why are you sabotaging this, Norm? You're screwing up this thing. You're screwing it up, And they get into this whole thing, doing it over and over and over again. And every single time, it's like Norm's just not doing the Rod Serling thing. He's just like, it's like, hey, don't you love it? Just like picture if you will, the whole thing wrong. And they finally get to the they're gonna they do the live run through before the show, and he's still screwing it up, and Chris Kattan's just like getting super mad and he's telling like the whole time he's like telling Pamela Anderson like just what a like he's just not professional. I don't know why we're having him there, and all this stuff, and like he's just running him down to Pamela Anderson. And so then they finally, it's like 1 minute to live, and Chris Kattan's like still bitching at him and 30 seconds to live, and like he's just complaining about him to him, and like 15 seconds to live, and Norm starts it off. And Norm looks at Pamela Anderson and says, hey, did you know that Chris Kattan is a giant homosexual? and we're live. And then Norm goes, picture if you will. He just does the voice perfectly. And it's just like, and they say like, yeah, he just totally, and then Kattan wanted to like kick his ass, but of course he obviously couldn't because they were live on TV and everything like that. But I think Norm Macdonald is an absolute comedic genius.
I agree. My wife hates him, which makes me like him even more as well.
Well, it's
a good one. Wait. In a surprise move, O.J. Simpson has offered to give an interview to CNN with absolutely no ground rules. But interviewers Greta Van Susteren and Roger Kosick have asked for one. Don't kill us.
All right, I gotta get off for the night, guys.
Yeah, I suppose it's nearly midnight. It is midnight. We can wrap things up, I suppose. Oh, that was cool, man. It was low key. It wasn't. I got all of my Namardi thralls put together. That's what I'm sure everybody was really worried about knowing what I was making, but yeah, I got all of these guys put together. Now I can base coat them and I can paint them. And these are the Idoneth Deepkin, the brand new. Oh, I forgot. I didn't mention this. I didn't say anything about this. So my Warhammer store, super cool place, right? And the guy who works it or runs it or whatever Super nice guy, super cool guy. Like I walk in there, and like there's a guy that isn't. There's my cat. Hey, cat. I walk in there, and here's this guy that isn't the guy, that I'm used to seeing. And he says, I bet you're wondering where JD is. And I was like, yes, I am. And he just said, yeah, he quit today. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, apparently something happened, and like he just decided he didn't want to work at Warhammer anymore. And he just turned in no notice. Just, I'm done. I'm out. So now, basically the stuff that I've ordered, that I've pre-ordered, like they don't have any, because the way Warhammer works is they have one person per store, and they'll have some backup people in case there's like a weird sickness or something like that. But those backup people, the 2 backup people that they have, because they're allowed to hire 2 backup people, both of those guys have full-time jobs, and so they can't work at the store. So the Warhammer store has gone from being open like dang near every day to being open Saturday and Sunday, while Warhammer is like scrambling, or Games Workshop is scrambling to find somebody to work at the place. So there you go. I'm annoyed. You there, Anthony?
I'm here.
Okay,
that wasn't very cool.
No, it wasn't cool. That's one of the things. It's like, couldn't you just give them 2 weeks notice? Couldn't you just? No, apparently not. That's fine, I guess. It's fine. So anyway, hey, hang out for a second. Don't take off. I'm gonna shut you down. So everybody, thank you so much for listening in and hanging out. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next week.
Good night.